atheism itself violates its fundamental criterion of belief. Okay?
I've got the timestamp for you.
Oh, okay. What is it?
27 minutes and 40 seconds. Or you could even go like 30 seconds just to get a little more context.
All right, let me just reload this. This is with the line with Matt the Obliviator and John the Manchild Gleason?
Yeah.
Those nicknames kill me every time.
Well, I do that for a reason, for humor, but also to point out what I consider to be a central characteristic that makes them unique. And if you look at his videos, I don't watch many of his videos, but the videos that I have watched on irregularity, the guy comes across like he's an 8th grader who just discovered that he can do a YouTube show.
You talk about Aaron Ra?
Darth, you are right now also being mentioned at the channel Answers in Atheism at the chat which you had with Danny.
Talking about me right now?
Yes.
And Answers in Atheism?
Yes.
Is it live right now?
Yes, it's live right now.
I don't see it on my live feed.
I can link it to you, the channel, if you want. Yeah, quick.
You should totally stream, bro, if you can.
They're live.
Oh, okay. Oh, they're playing the Darth Christmas songs.
You want to stream it? Yeah.
Don't be weird.
Can someone please stream this, please?
I'm going to do it right now.
Have you ever been at Speed's channel, Darth, at Answers in Atheism?
Credit card in the next 30 minutes, and if you manage to successfully render an argument for intelligibility with a godless worldview, you'll receive a beautifully decorated King James Bible with your own personally autographed copy of Dawkins' Presuppositionalist Guide, Crushing Atheism. Absolutely free. Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year.
Boom!
Bro, I like how they're doing commercials for you.
That's good.
Wasn't that one of the best?
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of the best. I think.
What I'm going to goof on? I'll ask them if I can join.
It's like,
Please find out if you can join.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you can join. They are waiting for you, Darth.
Okay, this is like the best.
You can't get better than this.
That is peak level Darth Derangement Syndrome right there. Advertisements? Infomercials?
But it's like they're doing him favors. Like, lol.
It's insane, dude.
I think you should, instead of saying mocking, you should say, want to have a dialogue. You'll scare him off.
Circle back and have a dialogue?
Let's see their facial expressions.
They're not going to believe it.
Well, we're only going to be able to see one.
Yeah.
He's already laughing.
The what? No.
That might be the.
No, it's not. I know for a fact it's not. He also uses evolution false. He also uses what?
Yeah, there's
He also uses a socket.
I don't think they're gonna do it.
Evolution Falls, Texas.
I mean, how Tangelo said they're waiting for him.
They want views, dude. They don't actually have an argument.
Through that.
This is the real Darth Dawkins. Ha!
Please stand up.
Oh, damn, Darth, you should unmute. What?
I don't think they're gonna take the bait.
I actually with Darth a lot.
Someone's
Yeah,
checking-
Tangelo,
someone's
let
checking
them
the
know
chat.
that I'm on right now.
Is it just me or there's no stream volume?
He is not putting any volume on, I guess.
Are you guys listening? They're going to
Well,
probably
he hasn't
invite me
refined
in.
them at all. And
We're listening, but until you like are talking, we can't hear the actual stream.
Hey, Darth.
Over the place at any time. I'm pretty sure a lot of them use like algorithms.
Oh, we're good now.
That they get pinged whenever he's brought up in like a video.
Hold it up on YouTube so you can listen.
Okay, look at. Okay, I think Otangelo is the one that brought him, that told him about that we were.
Sorry,
playing
they trust
playing the video. Maybe
you in the live chat for speed stream.
Yes, I'm there. That's me, Evolution Falls.
Okay, I'll tell them they trust me.
Speed has not said whether he wants him to come in, and I'm not just going to throw the link out.
That's me. I'm Evolution.
wants who to come in.
Darth.
I'm just going to throw the link at
What I
him.
want him and Mike fucking stream for? You guys out of your fucking
Dude, I
mind?
can tell you.
Wow,
Fuck
what a bunch of
If he
bitches.
comes in,
No, he ain't
this,
coming in.
this video will have over 1,000.
At least this guy's trying to convince them. They're throwing the link out, guys.
All right, I'm going in, guys.
Good luck.
GLHF, my dude.
Yep, it's been erupting for a day or two now.
Me, Speed, and Dessel all put.
Okay, guys,
I'll put
it's
the
Darth.
link in.
Oh, Speed, listen. I was at Darth's. I was at Darth's sport channel, and I saw that you guys were streaming Darth's interaction with Danny, and I invited him to come here to the stream.
Okay, so I understand you guys are buying my Christmas holiday song collection.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Okay, so I understand you guys are buying my Christmas holiday song collection.
Yes, we are. We already ordered.
You admit that.
Yeah.
But Darth,
Yeah.
I've been saying.
No, I think I
No, we don't.
Admit that you like that video too.
I have. I think it's very
it's
funny.
a great video.
It's hysterical.
It is hysterical.
it's a sign of notoriety, at least.
Yeah.
But Darth,
Yeah.
I've been saying you've been a good debater, and these people don't believe me. They don't believe me, Darth.
No, I think I hold.
We don't.
He's a good interrogator. He'd be great working for the FBI as long as he's playing the bad cop. He needs somebody to know balance. Maybe Danny could be the good cop and Darth could be the bad cop.
I don't think Darth wants to debate.
Well, I think no, I won't debate you because you're a scumbag. Because you double crossed me. Okay, you double crossed me. You decided that you wanted
Do you
to
even
be.
remember what I did?
Okay, why are you over talking me? Okay.
Because I like to overtalk Darth.
I wasn't talking to you. I was speaking to Danny.
I don't
Yeah,
really
if this is going to
Darth.
be, listen carefully. If this is going to be a typical atheist shit show, then I'm not going to waste my time with a bunch of man-childs. Okay.
What did you expect?
Okay. Well, I don't know. I have to find out till I interact with people.
Okay, go ahead.
But Danny's a scumbag, and he knows why he's a scumbag. If you want me to explain, I'm glad I will. Okay. So now, if you guys want to mock me, that's all fine and good. But if
I'm not mocking
you, if you,
Well,
what I find is,
there's nothing
yeah. Can I listen, dude? Listen. I appreciate you inviting me on, but what I don't appreciate is when I'm talking when I have, people who just overtalk. I'm not hogging the microphone.
You are fun to listen to, so go ahead.
There's no topic that's been introduced.
Okay. Well, what I do find is the vast majority of the atheist YouTube community, with rare exceptions, are ballless, feckless, spineless cowards. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Pretty much describes us.
Are you in the majority of the atheist community, or are you in the stream?
Yeah. The majority of the atheist community, many of them just refuse to have a dialogue. Like, for example, Doug from Pine Creek. You familiar with Doug?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've known.
Okay, I interacted with him twice several years ago, and he got smoked. And so I called in less than a week ago. Nobody was calling in on his show, and he invited people to call in. And then he wouldn't let me interact with him. He kept on muting me, and then he proceeded to mock and ridicule me. So, he pretends like he's got brass balls, on his own show, but he doesn't want to have a level playing field conversation about, his atheism versus the Christian worldview, right? Because he knows that if he does have a
interaction, and I thought it was pretty even on Doug's part, so I'm not quite sure what you're referring to.
Okay, who's speaking?
Scott.
My name's Scott.
Okay, I'm looking at the screen. There's some that it's for who?
Scott. Second up from the bottom.
Scott. Well, first, what you're not aware of, how you could conclude it was a level playing field, when the fact of the matter is I was muted much of the time, and then
you overtalk people and get loud.
Yeah, dude. Listen, do me a favor. Scott. This is very important. Scott, do me a favor. Scott, do you have
to interact with? And I'd really
let one person talk.
This interaction.
Okay.
Push the bong away. Call 911. You're delusional. That's not what happened.
So wait, hold on. Can I start the question?
I saw it, and you're delusional.
Yeah. Well, listen. Once somebody reveals to me that they're bullshitting and trolling, then I have no interest in speaking with you because that's not what happened.
And I don't have much interest in you either.
A valid question to you.
All right. Listen, I have no patience. All I want is to talk with serious-minded, intelligent.
Yeah,
atheists.
that's why I want.
Not a fool like you, Scott.
That's why I know.
Moderation. Everybody, shut the fuck up. Like, seriously. Like, we're not just gonna.
Leo, I've been talking to.
Darth, you're an idiot. I don't like you. Like, okay.
Look, if you guys want to have a serious interaction with me, I'm game for it. If this is going to be a shit show, look, okay, fine. Then I'll talk with one person at a time. If we're going to have somebody who is a man-child, let me just say one more thing. If we're going to have somebody who's a man-child like Scott, I have no interest in dealing with idiots like that.
Okay, yeah, you want to talk? Hit me up.
I'm an idiot. I'm just saying I saw things differently.
Okay, would you guys put him backstage? The guy's a moron. I don't know. Maybe he's high.
I keep trying. So you said you want to hold on. You said you want to talk, Darth.
I'll talk with one person at a time.
Yeah,
okay?
hit me up. What's the meme?
Okay, well, okay, what's your name? Is it Leo?
Yes, Leo. You can call me Leo.
Okay, Leo, what are you?
What do you mean? I'm a human being.
Sagittarius.
Yeah, I mean, are you an atheist?
He's an atheist.
Yes, I am an atheist.
All right, listen. Okay, this is my last warning, okay? If this is going to continue to be a shit show, I'll leave, okay? So whoever controls the room, please put a stop to these mental midgets so I can talk with Leo. Otherwise, I'll just leave. I'm not going to waste my time.
So you want to take control of the room?
Jesus Christ, here we go.
Okay, because I'd like to talk. Leo at least wants to have an intelligent interaction.
Hang on, Darth. It's my channel. So Scott, everybody, please let Leo and Darth talk. And if you guys overtalk each other, I'm going to do my best to mute one or the other of you. Okay? Go ahead.
Sounds good. So yeah, I am an atheist and a naturalist.
Okay. Can you tell me what precisely is your atheism and why do you hold to it?
Atheism for me is the positive doxastic position that God does not exist.
Okay. And how did you come to that conclusion?
Through several means. I mean, it's a difficult question to answer because I'm a doxastic involuntarist, so I don't believe that I voluntarily come to hold to particular beliefs. So it was just the experiences that I've had have led me to the conclusion that at least most likely there is no God.
So you're a biological robot?
I don't know what that means.
It means that you don't choose your thoughts. Whatever neural states you have are just simply from the cascading past events.
In a sense, yeah. But I would argue that there's still.
I don't converse with answering machines.
Okay, then why are you here?
Then there's no point. Well, because I don't hold to that view. Okay.
Okay.
If you don't actually make choices in any of your beliefs, then there's no point in talking to you, because therefore you're going to be in a position where whatever comes out of your brain from your perspective has been billions of years in the making. So I'm not talking to an agent.
Wait, you do know that most epistemologists adhere to doxastic involuntarism, correct?
Okay, I really don't care what most other people believe. I'm talking to you right now. The fact of the matter is simply this. So you conclude, you have a conclusion. You either believe that what is fundamental to reality is either personal or impersonal, right? Now, did you just wake up one morning and you just went, oh, what's fundamental to reality is impersonal? Have you always thought that?
I don't believe that anything is fundamental to reality. I believe reality is the fundamental thing, and I would agree it is impersonal.
That's it. Well, you just contradicted yourself.
How?
You said I don't believe anything is fundamental, but then you said reality is fundamental.
No, I said I don't believe anything is fundamental. That reality is fundamental to, or that anything is fundamental to reality. Or no, the other way around. That reality is not rooted in anything else. Reality is the fundamental thing. It isn't rooted in some other fundamental.
So then what you believe is that there is an unimaginable number of plurality of things that are independent and existing eternally. Is that correct?
No, tenselessly yes, but eternally no.
That's what. Well, then, so you believe that things just came into existence?
No, I don't believe anything came into existence because time is tenseless.
Either you believe
temporal becoming is not a real.
Listen, okay. So then you believe either you believe something is eternal or you don't.
No, the eternal is just the wrong word to use. Tenseless is the correct word.
Okay.
The universe exists as a nomological fact.
Tenseless has to do with grammar. Okay? Tense has to do with grammar. Okay. When we talk about eternal, we're talking about something. Please don't overtalk me. You're not as smart as you think you are. Okay. Listen. Just because you fast talk doesn't make you sound smart. Right. Now listen carefully. So you do not believe that there's anything singular that institutes and controls what's possible. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's not how we establish what's possible or impossible.
No, I'm not talking to we. I'm talking to you.
Sure,
I don't want to hear
as a species, as a society. That's not how we establish what's possible and impossible.
Okay. I'm talking to you. Okay. Now, is anything impossible?
Of course.
Okay. What is it that makes anything impossible?
Contradictions in its state of affairs. And are we talking physical impossibility or logical impossibility? Because
I'm talking about metaphysical impossibility.
Well, metaphysical impossibility isn't really clearly defined in philosophy, so I would prefer if we talk about physical or
listen, you can bullshit.
Are you done, Leo?
Okay. Yes, listen carefully. Listen carefully. Okay. You said that some things are impossible. What is it that is fundamental, right? That will impose and secures what's impossible.
Well, it depends on which form of impossibility we're talking about. If we're referring to physical impossibility, that would be the laws of physics. If we're referring
I'm talking about any impossibility at all.
Sir, please don't overtalk me. If it's physical impossibility, then that would be prescribed by the laws of physics.
No, I'm talking about any impossibility.
That would be prescribed by the laws of logic.
Hold on a second. Listen. When I ask a question, I'm just asking for you to inform me as to what your position is. I just need. Okay. I'm not looking for a community college lecture. Okay. Now,
I wasn't giving
I'm talking about what is it that is fundamental that will institute and secure any and all impossibility.
It depends on what kind of impossibility we're talking about.
Okay, I just explained to you all.
Well, yeah, but what makes something physically impossible is different than what makes something
Okay,
logical. I was done.
Okay, I want to know what it is that makes anything at all impossible.
What type of impossibility or possibility are we talking about?
Is I explained to you metaphysics, okay? Metaphysics governs everything, okay?
It does.
I want to know what it is. Look, it's not a complicated question. I ask this question all the time to people. All right,
it's not complicated.
Okay, so I want to know. Listen. Do you know what being verbose means?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Giving me a verbose response is not giving me a cogent response. I'll ask the question again, because all you're just doing is responding with verbosity. I want to know what it is that will implement and secure why anything is impossible. Anything at all.
I already answered.
Yeah, well, that answer was not satisfactory.
Well,
That's why
for
I'm
you it
asking the question
wasn't.
again.
But the thing is, it's not about
Yeah,
what you consider to be.
listen
Please
to
don't
me.
overtalk
Listen.
me. It's
No, I'm
not
gonna
about what you. It's not about what you consider to be satisfactory.
I'm not.
It's about my position. You're asking me about my position, correct? Well, then I gave it to you. It might not be satisfactory, but it's what you're going to have to work with if you're having a discussion with me, which is what you said you're doing.
Time.
Okay,
you
you
keep
done?
on responding
You
to
ready?
me.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to waste my time with these childish responses. You are not responding to me like an adult. You're
Yeah,
just
I am.
being verbose. No,
No, I'm
you
not.
are not. Listen,
How
dude.
have I been verbose? Can you explain?
Listen, I'm not doing this. Okay, this is your last warning. Okay, all you're simply being is hyper talkative. You are not specifically responding to what I'm saying. Okay, I deal with people like you on a regular basis.
Cool.
I'm not easily bamboozled. Now, I want to know specifically why anything at all. What is it that is fundamental, okay, to all things that makes anything impossible? It's a simple question.
Well, it's nuanced. What kind of impossibility are we talking about?
Okay,
I'm
I'm waiting for your answer.
Well, yeah, I've given it to you. You seem to think that something that is physically impossible is impossible for the same reasons as something that is logically impossible. That's not the case. So you're going to have to specify particularly what you mean when you say impossible. Otherwise, I don't know how to answer your question in an honest manner. I mean, you want honest answers, don't you?
Okay, you're doing it again. My patience is very quickly evaporating. Okay, I want to know why is anything at all. Okay, is it impossible for me to jump to the moon?
Physically impossible? Yes. Logically impossible? No.
Okay. What would make anything at all either logically impossible or physically impossible?
Either the laws of logic or the laws of physics.
Okay. Yeah. Now, are the laws of physics eternal?
No.
Okay. So how do you know that they will continue in the next 10 seconds?
I don't. I presuppose the uniformity of nature, generally given the consistency and applicability of our physical models.
Okay, yeah, that was just a bunch of gobbledygook in that last sentence. Okay,
sure. If you think so.
Listen. Do you think by being verbose you're sounding smart?
How have I been verbose? Can you please explain?
Okay, you're not getting this. You're probably just accustomed to talking this way. Okay, it's a bad habit, right? Normal people don't talk that way. All right.
Are you going to respond?
Are you a school teacher, Darth?
Now, you said the laws of logic. Are those universals?
As well, which laws of logic?
All right, look, dude, I'm not doing this because every time. Last warning. Listen, last warning.
I'm trying to be honest.
Last warning. Listen to me. Last
logic?
warning. You're not listening to me.
What are we talking about here?
Hold on a second, Darth. You don't get to give warnings here. Just stop.
No. I will
behave like a gentleman, or I'll boot you.
I really don't care if you boot me. Go ahead.
I don't really care if you leave. So
good. I don't care. Leo, I'm just curious. Leo, how old are you?
25.
It doesn't fucking matter how old he is.
It does matter because I deal with a lot of immature males on the internet, and I want to know what his age is. I want to see.
Leo, just give me the word.
You can go ahead, kick me. I don't care. Okay, but you see, every time I ask you a question, Leo, it's always this multitudinous, definitions. Okay, if you're 25 years old,
You know what nuance is?
you need to start interacting me like you're an adult. Okay.
I
Now,
have been.
the laws of logic, are they universal?
Which laws of logic?
Okay,
Like
we're done.
classical logic,
Okay, but
quantum
yeah,
logic?
listen to
Wait,
me. We're
can I
done,
ask you
Leo.
a question? Do you
We're
under-
done,
do you
Leo.
under- do you
No, we're done,
understand that
Leo.
there- do you understand
Leo,
that there are
we're
multiple
done.
forms of logic? Do
We're-
you understand
Leo,
that
we're
there are
done.
multiple forms of logic?
Leo, we're done.
Do you
Leo,
understand that there are multiple
Leo,
forms of logic?
we're done.
So why do you keep
Stop
responding
over
to me?
talking him. Just let him. Okay, Leo.
Yeah, we're done, Leo.
If you're
That's
done, Leo.
fine.
Leo,
No,
if
he's
you're
done. I
done-
never said I was done. I just want to ask him a question, and that's if Darth understands that there is more than one form
Leo,
of logic.
He's asking
every
you a
time I
question,
ask you,
Darth. He's
every
asking
time
you a
I ask,
question.
all right, mute me again, and I'm leaving. Okay.
Well, he's saying that I'm
no.
asking you a question, and you're not answering it. Why?
All right, okay, all right. Listen, we're done. I'm tired of you muting me. Okay. You see, this is the last chance, or I'm leaving. Okay, Leo. Every
Welcome
time I
back,
ask
Darth.
you a question, okay,
Yeah, that guy
you
was a
respond to
moron.
me with
25
multiple
years old
questions back,
going on
and then you
30.
just
No, I
you
don't.
throw in verbosity. Okay,
I'm
shocked.
You're an
that
idiot.
We need specificity
Okay, then
if we're
go.
going to have
You are
a
not a
discussion.
superstar. We are not holding this room for you.
I know. He's such an
In a
asshole.
roundabout way, he was saying that nothing is ultimate and institutes
No, the
impossibility.
point is every time I ask him a question to commit to a position, it's just never ending. Oh, what do you mean by that? What about this? What about this? What do you mean by that? It's like, okay. The guy was also like he's hyped up on caffeine.
Maybe Adderall.
Yeah, he's a moron. Okay, he starts using words like doxastic. Excuse me, doxastic. Okay, how many people use that word? Okay.
He kept saying reality. I knew he would do the reality route. Reality.
Yeah. He's just a fast talking little punk who thinks he's smart, and he's not. And every time I ask him to commit to a position, he just wants to either be verbose, not really saying very much, like he's giving a
by using a lot of jargon, he's really smart.
Exactly. He's using jargon, nomenclature. I know what all those terms mean, but the point is, this is all a performance, right?
Big words, small brain.
Well, we don't know what metaphysically impossibility means in philosophy. It's not really defined.
Yeah. I want to know why anything is all about. Oh, what do you mean? Physical impossibility? The laws of nature? Well, good. Are the laws of nature eternal? No.
He said he presupposes uniformity as well.
Yeah. Well, see,
I like when you said to him, no one talks like that. It's so true. No one talks like that.
No one talks like that. He's a mental case. Okay, look, listen. I want to have an adult to adult conversation. I don't mind if somebody's half my age. I don't mind if somebody's a third of my age. Just act mature. Okay, don't act like a dick. And he was. Right?
What's surprising about Danny is that I heard he was actually a Christian at first, but I guess he
no, I know Danny. Okay,
Scrunchy. I heard he actually was a Christian at first, but I think I heard like
Danny is a homo. Okay, he came to me for advice because he was struggling with this. I also told him don't hang out with the atheists. They're going to corrupt your thinking. A bad company corrupts good morals. I told him, and he didn't listen to me. And then one day he decided to secretly record me and bait me, right? And then so he could play it for chat. I mean, so Danny is desperate for friendship. Okay, right?
Wow.
And that's why he's turned to these people. But that guy Leo, what a moron.
I have a question. Did anyone else notice? I was quite frequently pinging the chat saying Danny is a scumbag throughout the entire video.
No, when I'm trying to talk with somebody, I don't want to sit there and talk with somebody who sounds like they're hyped up on Ritalin or Adderall and a large dose of coffee and just throwing out nomenclature there. And then every time I ask them to qualify their position, they keep on splitting hairs and asking for definitions. Right? This is not somebody who's trying to have an adult to an adult interchange, an exchange of ideas, even a debate. This is just a 25-year-old going on 15, just running his mouth off like he had diarrhea of the mouth.
Did you say 25 going on 15?
Yes, I did.
That's hilarious. Did anyone else catch that?
Well, why do you think I said it? Right? I mean, did you even listen to him at all?
He's talking like you're right, like he's on Ritalin.
Yeah, there's something wrong with this guy.
People need to stop
Look,
saying reality.
look. I've talked with professional philosophers. They don't talk like that. You know, he's just throwing out their nomenclature and fast talking. You know, putting on a little performance. You know, a vaudeville act, like he's intellectual. He's not.
Another thing is,
look, listen. It's perfectly fine to ask for definitions, okay? But people will use this as a tactic to stall, dodge, and delay, and then to try to throw out a red herring or scurry down a rabbit trail. So when I'm dealing with an imbecile like this, I give them a couple of warnings, and if they don't stop, then I left. What was the point in continuing with that imbecile? Did you what? Do another 20 minutes of the? Do another 20 minutes of this guy going.
There's no point. There's no benefit.
The issue with
No,
reality,
he's a moron. If he actually was intelligent, he wouldn't have needed to resort to that shtick. That's all it was. It was shtick.
Doesn't it amaze you that between 6 people they couldn't moderate a chat?
No, I had to beg and plead that they moderate.
Yeah, it's crazy that 6 people wouldn't let the guest speak.
You know, and listen, when I ask questions, I'm not looking for, you know, a community college lecture. Who does he think he's fooling?
They clearly invited you on the show. You're the guest. It's your time. Yet they're going to cut you off.
Yeah. Well, and now what they're going to do is they're going to post my name in the title of the show, Darth Dawkins Rage Quits. And then they're going to have double or triple the normal views that they do on this. I've seen this all before.
That's fine for them.
Hey, Darth Dawkins.
Yes.
Are you familiar with Kingdom of Debates?
Kingdom of Debates. It sounds familiar.
Kingdom of Debates. You were
the name
hosting...
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
It sounds familiar.
Oh, yeah.
Zaji, my home looks good.
Yo, anyways, they have a new server. You've been in a few of their videos. There's a lot of atheists in there. If you'd like, anytime, we would like to have you there. And, you know, maybe we could have an AMA or something. We could moderate or, you know, do the normal thing.
You don't sound like you're too impartial, sir.
I've been invited to a number of servers, and if I don't have it on there, it's because I've left the server. Was I on the server before?
No, it was newly created. 150 members so far, but we're planning on hosting an AMA.
Well, send me an invite.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I don't want to sound like an ass, but you sound like you have predisposed positions with a voice like that. Are you?
Well, let's not listen. I will call people out. I'll criticize people. I will insult people, but I don't think you're being fair to him.
Whoever said that shit was not funny.
It really wasn't. It's not meant to be funny. Like you have a world.
Funny.
Okay, so how do you say your name? Zaji?
Zaji, yes.
Okay, I'll just let you know in case you probably know already. I don't put up with bullshit. Okay, I get invited to a server, and if it turns into a crap show, then I'll just delete the server and won't be back. I'm not going to waste my time. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I said if you ever do an AMA, we'll have a few admins. Me and Archimedes are there. We can mute anyone who gives you trouble. Yeah.
See
that good bloke. He seems respectful, doesn't he?
Yeah, Leo, you know, like I said, he's 20. He says he's 25, going on 15. I really expected him to say, you know, like 16, 17. I really thought that I was dealing with a teenager. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I was.
I'm talking about Leo from the YouTube that I was just on.
Well, I think he was trying to show, it's almost like theatrics, isn't it? It's the idea of if I use big words, everyone watching will think I'm right because I'm so smart. But
it was pure theatrics. It was pure theatrics. I'm not going to waste my time with a 25-year-old, or so he claims, going on 15 doing verbal theatrics, right? And I warned him several times. I said, dude, stop with the performance.
I don't necessarily know why you would choose this guy over like some of your other people like Supreme Leader or that like would be impartial.
What are you talking about?
This guy sounds 17 himself, honestly.
Look, it's a server. He asked me if I would stop by and chat. I will. If it turns into a crap show, I'll delete the server.
You're a free man to do that, but
it's no skin. Good. It's no skin off my nose. Okay. You know how many servers I've deleted? Well, fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, I'm a big boy.
Dude, you should be honored that Darth is going and shitting on.
It's good content, Noah. I'm just concerned that people are going to be like making a crap show of your name on YouTube.
Look, if it turns into a crap show, then I leave. Okay.
I know you're a big boy, Darth, but recently I have been concerned about your failing faculties.
My thing, yeah. Well,
failing faculties.
My failing faculties.
Ask Biden about his.
Yeah, well, Darth keeps having Biden moments.
Joe to mention. You know what? It's not even a joke. It's true, right?
I know it is. That's why I brought it up.
He tripped up the steps the other day on the airplane.
But no, that was just wind, though.
Yeah, that was just the wind.
He tripped up the steps 3 times.
There's a lot of wind.
Did you guys hear Trump's little speech on like, he slid down the damn ramp. He ran down the ramp.
Trump is starting a major either news or social network thing in a couple of months. He's launching it.
Social media. Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's going to be great because it's going to be free speech. Trump's going to be there, so all the conservatives will go there. And then all the liberals left on Twitter are going to have to move because there will be just an echo chamber.
Amazing.
Now, notice when I said to that idiot, the laws of logic, are they universal? What are you talking about? They're different systems of logic. It's like,
yeah, he kept talking.
Man, what are you smoking?
His name should be Leo Ritalin.
Leo Ritalin. That's good. I like that. I'm going to steal that. Leo Ritalin. Yeah.
I don't know if you're trying to get into like paraconsistent and stuff like that, and like other.
See, this is what people who start dabbling in philosophy, who are atheists and sophists, do. They just try to obstruct. Okay, if they
try to obfuscate what
obstruct, cloud the issue, muddy the waters. Just find anything to hyper define, rabbit trail. Okay, listen, I've been doing this for over 10 years. Right, nothing new is under the sun. Yeah, this guy thought he was.
That's stage 2, though. The first stage is to sound smart and philosophical. If that doesn't work, then you obfuscate.
He was hyper talking. He was doing a performance. It was a theatrical performance. He's nomenclature dropping for what reason? Okay. Then when I ask him to commit, what's your position on this? Then he goes, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by that? When somebody keeps on asking for multiple definitions over and over and over again, now it's a tactic.
That's the wall of bloviation right there.
Yeah.
The dodging.
So what I say first of all, he says. The laws of logic are what make anything logically possible. I said, okay, are they universal? Then he goes, well, what system of logic are you talking about? Well, the ones that you just mentioned. Right?
Well, first off, are they even laws?
No, but the point is, he mentioned that the laws of logic are what make anything logically possible. So is that universal? Then and this is proof positive that the guy's a moron, because what he's now trying to do is, when I'm asking him a question that he either is uncomfortable of answering or doesn't know how to answer it, then it's the go-to hair splitting mode. Well, what do you mean? There's different system of logic. There's power consistent logic. There's fuzzy logic. Blah, 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 blah. It's just like, oh gosh, go make your bed, find your retainer, brush your teeth, and get ready for school tomorrow.
If there's fuzzy logic, he can pick up a new question or a new line of reasoning. He can get you on a new topic.
He goes, well, what logical system do you talk about? Whatever you were mentioning, you said the laws of logic. All right? So if he was a sincere player, then there would not have been any need for him to ask me about, well, what systems of logic? This is the mind of a hyperkinetic, hyper-caffeinated, Ritalin-ingested mental midget running his mouth off.
Yeah, a good point is a normal person would ask another logical question from another angle. They'd take a pause, think about it.
I'm asking an ontological question, okay? What makes anything impossible? And immediately, rather than answer the question, oh, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Do you mean laws of logic? Do you mean laws of nature? Blah, 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 blah.
And then
And then he said, then he says he doesn't. Then he says he doesn't believe that the laws of nature are eternal. Oh, so if the laws of nature began to exist, then they're not unconditionally non-dependent. They're not absolute. So the question is, why did they begin? So either they began spontaneously for no reason at all, just poof, they just popped into existence. Then at any moment they could poof out of existence, and there would be no reason to infer that there are laws of logic. Then he tried to introduce, the B theory of time. Although he didn't mention it, he's just a moron.
Meanwhile, every time you explain something, as you said, he says, "What do you mean?" Well, what does that mean?
What happened was Darth asked him a question. He goes, "Which one?" Or he speaks in these definitions as there are many, or he speaks of these words or as if there's many definitions.
He can't go from sentence to sentence without logically following. He has to say, "What do you mean?" or clarify that, whereas Darth knows exactly what he means. See, that's the difference.
I'll bet you anything. Listen to me. I'll bet you anything. If he really is 25 years old, I'll bet you anything that guy's a homosexual. Okay?
Or bisexual or some type of weird poly or pan.
Yeah, somebody go in there and find out if he is, okay?
Well, I think it's not.
There's a high degree of homosexuality and sexual deviancy among the ranks of atheists. That's a compelling reason why many of them, certainly not all, but many of them are that way.
Well, he always talks about an actress. I forgot her name right now, which he is passionate about.
Yeah, have him come in here. Antangelo, send him an invite here. He won't get away with his antics. I'll talk with him again, but it's going to be on a level playing field of rules, not his Ritalin-driven motor mouth.
Yeah, but
I left actually the Discord link there in the private chat, and someone there tried to come in, but they said it was the wrong link, and I don't know why.
Right, hold on.
I do have a recommendation. If he does come in here by any chance, I would say give him like 30 second or minute talking blocks, because he's going to watch.
I agree. All right, Antangelo, I'm going to post it in Atheist Helpline. All right, that is a permanent link.
You post it where?
In Atheist Helpline.
Here.
These are the guys to wear bow ties instead of ties.
Here.
Don't you love the name of the show, Answers in Atheism? What? I mean, really? This is why I refer to some of these people as man children. Okay. And by the way, the guy who's Answers in Atheism, he's a middle-aged guy. Answers in Atheism? What answers are there in atheism?
He tries to justify his atheism.
No, atheism cannot identify what is fundamental or ultimate. So how do you have any answers in anything? What he's doing is he's ripping off. He's doing a parody of Answers in Genesis. Okay.
Yes. He takes the name from Answers in Genesis. That's correct.
Yeah, I don't even know how I lasted as long as I did with that Leo clown. I'm surprised I lasted as long as I did.
Okay, I'll put the link in the side chat at his channel. And
I'm surprised they didn't kick you as well.
I was advocating for the moderator to be fair, and I think he actually did read it because he interacted with me a little bit, so it might have helped a little bit.
Maybe so, but he was not being that impartial.
No, but like if you notice, like up till like the end of their conversation, he was fairly impartial. But like
he kept on muting me. Okay,
around the end of your conversation,
I interjected a couple of times because I don't want to sit here for 30 to 60 seconds while this 25-year-old dipshit moron who thinks he's a philosophy professor giving a community college lecture. All I want are basic answers. Okay. When he says the laws of logic are what dictate what is logically impossible, I then ask, is that universal? Well, what do you mean? What logic do you mean? Well, the laws of logic you just mentioned, right? So doesn't this is a clear tip off of his method of operation? That if he's uncomfortable about asking anything, then what you go is into definition mode. You split hairs, you definitions. What do you mean by this? Okay. Can somebody join the server, this VC, and with an alt account? Because somebody's sending a message saying the VC is locked.
They have to pick a role. They're going to be able to join the voice chat if they don't have a role.
Well, then why did we have people who are in here without a role today?
In a way, had just locked it.
Between 6 20-year-olds, they couldn't talk in turn. That's crazy.
okay, Darth, I left the link there in the side chat, but Speed, which is the owner of the chat, he said that if you would like to join again,
okay,
you can
good.
Good.
Let them. Yep.
You want to join there again?
Say that again.
Speed, the owner of the channel, he said that if you would like to join his stream again to continue your conversation with Leo, you are welcome.
No, there was no point. Leo is brain damaged.
Okay.
Leo was not talking to me. He was talking past me. He was doing verbal theatrics. Right.
Okay. So I will invite him if he wants to come in here. If he wants to come in here, I say
yeah. If Leo wants to come in here, I'll talk with him. But you see, he's not going to get away with being a motor mouth, and he's gonna be required to speak normally, right? Instead of this hyper phonetic Ritalin ingested, verbosity.
Yeah, I just left the message.
Look, I'm very familiar with the word doxastic, okay? But there's no reason to be using this outside of an academic setting, okay?
Okay, let's see if you will come.
Look, I could the guys.
Let me use a word I don't think Darth doesn't know, so I'm gonna try to.
The guy's an absolute. The guy's an idiot. I said, "Are the laws of logic universal?" He goes, "Well, which logic do you mean?" The one you just mentioned, idiot.
And then he'll say, "Well, what do you mean?"
There's nothing wrong in asking for definitions or for clarifications, but there are people who will use it as a tactic to dodge and delay, to misdirect and rabbit trail.
We saw exactly
Okay,
that.
someone says there, tell Darth to debate him on just about anything in a neutral spot.
Yeah, he's an idiot. No, the sad thing about it is he doesn't realize what an imbecile he is.
I think he will not leave the stream at there and come to your channel. So
He was like Grandmoppy Jr. Did anyone else notice that?
Oh no! That's an insult to Grandmoppy. I mean, that's no. This see, Grandmoppy was not trying to impress anybody. Okay, Grandmoppy gets paid to talk. He gets paid to teach. He doesn't need to sit there and just be Ritalin injected verbose.
Who's
When he said it,
who's the verbose one out of that crew?
Leo.
No, Leo's a kid. Who's the verbose one? Is it
That's what.
Eric?
Who are you talking about?
Eric Murphy. Is he the fast talker?
No.
No, Eric's
No.
a slow gay talker. I apologize. We can't say he's gay.
Well, he has indicated in the past that he swings both ways.
Right.
yes, I've seen that.
Which one of those guys is the fast talker? I'm getting confused.
Ben Shapiro? No, I'm just kidding.
No, when I insult people, whether people think I'm right in doing it or not, I'm not saying I'm always right in doing it. I try to do it because it's content specific.
Oh,
I'm not just.
I might be thinking of Philip Leone.
No, I think Leon was he wasn't a motor mouth.
I'm thinking of some atheist motor mouth. I can't put my thumb on it.
There's a difference between somebody being a motor mouth versus them giving me a community college lecture, right? In these kinds of conversations, we're not trying to get lectured by somebody who thinks they're professorial, right? We just
I'll be
want
quite
short.
honest, I noticed both.
I mean, well, sometimes the being a motor mouth can overlap with somebody being, doing what I call a community college lecture, but they're not the same. Okay. Leo. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but that guy's 25. Really?
I got.
I thought I was dealing. I thought I was dealing with a 16-year-old.
I'll give him a little more credit. I thought he was 18, 19.
That's why I said he's if he's 25 years old and he acts and talks that way, that I suspect that he probably is light in the loafers.
Or he's just stranded at college because college will do that to you.
On Tangelo or anyone else, you guys should notify Answers in Atheism that he needs to tag his live show with atheism, because it's not coming up when you do a live search of atheist shows, which means his show is not tagged for atheism.
While he's at it, he should also tag Darth Dawkins.
What's that?
While he's at it, he should also tag your name. Like, tag Darth Dawkins on the YouTube thing.
Yeah. Leo's one of those young male punks who thinks they're smart, and they think just by talking fast that they're going to convince everybody how smart they are.
Okay, I just put it here in the side chat. This channel.
If you look at the screen, just watch his the way he conducts himself with the sound off. Okay, he literally acts like a 16-year-old male.
Yeah, he has a deficiency which I forgot the name now.
He has a what?
Deficiency, a mental deficiency.
What is that? What is that?
In Portuguese is deficiência. I don't know in English.
Oh,
Some
what's
kind
the
of-
actual deficiency?
Find out what it is.
I forgot the name now.
What do you think? ADD?
I forgot the name. Remember, I'll tell you.
Maybe Asperger's.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
probably
something
that.
like that. Yeah, something like that. Exactly.
Yeah, he definitely had problems relating.
He seems to talk his fucking ass off.
Yeah, it's machine gun talking.
Yes.
Pardon my French.
I think it's Asperger's. I'm not sure.
I haven't seen very much of him, but when he said he was 25, I'm like, whoa.
Not to be insulting, but Asperger syndrome is on the autism spectrum. It's right up. It's
No, I understand
autism.
that.
That's what I heard. He has autism, exactly.
See, you'll notice that when I asked him a question, he had this pre-memorized script, rattling off machine gun words. I mean, who talks that way when you ask them why they're an atheist? Right?
That's one of the first questions which I ask always as well. Why are you an atheist? Or how can we explain our existence without a creator? That's what I asked Sharon Q and Paulo Gia when I called in the first time at the line. They immediately got aggressive.
Oh, can you tell me about that, or can you find a timestamp to that? Because I would love to see that.
Oh yes, I can give you the link.
She's as far as I'm concerned, I have nothing but contempt for her. As far as I'm concerned, she's a phony. Okay, she literally has an email address that's entitled "Elevate the Discourse." Right, and look, she even admitted in talking with the guy Mythvision, she even admitted to trolling. Okay, she basically admitted it. All I simply said to her was, I said, well, here's what I said to her, okay? Toward the end of the interaction, I got hard on her, insulting her because of her really bad conduct. But early on, I said to her, okay, can you tell me what your worldview is and how does it provide for the intelligibility of science? And she responds, my worldview is I lick cheesecake. Really?
Not only that, but she's kept saying over and over again, you'll have to take me through this like baby steps.
She was being a jerk on purpose. She didn't want to have an adult interaction because she knew that if she answered my questions truthfully, she was going to be in deep trouble.
I'll send you the link, Darth.
Just post it in Atheist Helpline.
Okay.
Yeah, find out what's wrong with find out if you can find out what's wrong with Leo. I would like to know what precisely is wrong with him because there's something wrong with him.
That's what you said. He has autism and Asperger's.
Find out. See if you can find out.
Okay, I'll ask him.
Okay, is this the time?
He might have also just been extremely nervous too.
Okay, hold on a second.
Just
okay.
He has Asperger's, according to someone on YouTube. He said he openly admitted it.
Yes, that's what I heard him saying.
Yeah, I don't mean to diagnose people from afar, but it was quite apparent he has a hard time with his vocal filter.
That call to line was fun. A lot of reactions. If you want
All right,
to show it, or play it
I'm gonna
here.
play. All right, I'm gonna play this. You ready? Here we go.
Gonna jump to our last caller, and hopefully we can squeeze it in before our hard stop. And I'm gonna butcher this name. Otangelo, is that in Brazil? And I'm gonna apologize before we even start for not necessarily getting the name correct.
Yes, hello, Paul.
Hello.
Yes.
How do we say your name?
Otangelo. Can you? Yes, hello. Yes, Otangelo. That's okay.
What's
can
up?
you hear me?
Yeah.
We do. What can we help you with tonight?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
We do.
Yes.
Okay. My question, the question which I would like to ask to you both is, I'm a Christian, and I would like to know how can we explain our existence without a creator?
All right, good question. Straightforward, very simple, non-complicated.
Paul, your turn. Go. Tiger it.
So,
well, you're an intelligent woman. You're college educated. Why can't you answer that, Shannon Q. Ducklips?
One of course wouldn't need to, if one is positing a creator, that is creating a burden of proof for.
Okay, notice he didn't answer your question. Right away, we have the dodge, right? Let's play that back again, okay? Okay, you're asking, how do you explain your world without a God, okay?
I'd like to know how can we explain our existence without a creator?
Okay, now, beautiful question. It couldn't be simpler, clear, okay? There's nothing in there that can legitimately allow them to segue on some rabbit trail.
Paul, your turn. Go.
Notice the reaction. Now watch this, okay? Notice her bimbo reaction.
Christian, and I would like to know how can we explain our existence
Here it comes,
without
watch.
a creator?
See, no, did you see that? The contempt that she has? Now that was a legitimate question, right? So whenever they talk about anything or everything on their show, they are always explaining everything without reference or context to the creator. So why is she contemptuous of your question? Let's watch this again. Look how contemptuous she is, right?
I'm a Christian, and I would like to know how can we explain our existence without a creator?
Paul, your turn. Go.
Yeah, you see what a smug broad she is?
Tiger it.
So, one of course wouldn't need to, if one is positing a creator, that is creating a burden of proof for.
He didn't posit a creator. He wants to know how you are able to explain your world without a creator. See, maybe these guys have a psychological deficit. Maybe they have ADD and they can't focus.
For that person, so as opposed to the person who's saying, we don't know. So, for example, I am not claiming that I know all the details about how our existence came to be. It seems to me that naturalistic explanations are in their infancy, but on their way, and it seems plausible to me that in the future we will have a lot more questions answered. So I guess the question.
It's basically a it's basically a materialism of the gap that you are.
Oh, Tangelo, I love you. That was great. Anyone else love that? That was great. Oh, that was good. Oh, that's good. That was great. Well timed, well stated.
And you can tell when Shannon couldn't answer anything, she just defaulted to her cutesy little laugh that she does.
Yeah. Well,
That's,
first of all, she had that guttural expression of disgust.
You
She will
absolutely
become very aggressive. You will see soon.
Oh, good.
you absolutely nailed them on that. That's almost what they said. They almost said, "We don't know, but it's naturalism."
Listen, I will shoot
Fans
for
are going off.
Well, I'll tell you when I think you're wrong, but that was beautiful.
The next sentence they're going to say is, "No."
So basically, you're giving me materialism the gap. That is exactly what they're doing. Oh, it's great.
Or endorsing.
Oh, let me play that back. Okay.
So it's basically a materialism of the gap that you are endorsing.
Now, what is there? Okay, now, interestingly enough, what is there to laugh about that? What was so funny about that?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
See, this is what this broad does. Okay, as a part of her, online persona,
her faux persona.
Her faux. Oh, I like that. Can I steal that? Her faux.
Of course.
Yeah. Instead of persona, her faux. Her online.
It's a total put on.
Oh, I love that. Did you just come up with that?
Yeah.
That was good. Her faux sona. Oh, I love that. Woo! I got another word today. Her faux sona is this bright, cheery, giggly, vivacious giggling like a schoolgirl. All right. Now, what is there to laugh about? Okay. What is so funny? I know why she's laughing. It's because Otangelo was spot on. He hit the nail on the head.
I guess the question.
So it's basically a materialism of the gap that you are endorsing.
No, it's not at all.
Oh, well then either
not at all. It's not even close.
Either it's God is fundamental or materialism is fundamental. But you obviously are not accepting that God is fundamental, so then naturalism is fundamental. Right? And then she's actually denying what her real position is. You see, this is why so many interactions are unfruitful with these people, because they're so committed to prevaricating, to being deceitful, deceptive. Wow.
At all,
No,
actually.
Well, I understand why you would say that based on where you cut me off there.
That wasn't a cutoff. That was just a brief interjection. Okay. Notice now they're going to pick up the hostility game, as Otangelo just told us. Is it Otangelo? Okay, so Otangelo basically says, okay, so now what they're going to go to the root is they're going to play the you're the bad guy routine here. Okay, you're the bad guy. Oh, you just cut him off. All you just did was made a brief comment. Okay, you didn't cut him off. You're not being rude, and already he's getting on edge. Because now you've really how shall I put this? You've really put everything in a clear perspective.
Hey, Otangelo, dude, you got to know when to not say that the emperor has no clothes. You know what I mean? A little child can get away with that. A grown adult's going to get muted.
All I know is to me. Oh, that's when you cut me off. Well, really? Who in here listened to that think that Otangelo was being rude? Right? Give me a break.
Where I was going to head was that
we don't know, but
are you tired?
All right.
Yes,
right.
Because we don't know, but we hope that we will come up with an explanation. So that is basically you are saying is we don't know if materialism is true, but we hope that one time we will find an answer. So that is a materialism of the gaps argument.
So
how do you know that God creating everything is true?
Okay, now notice immediately the knee-jerk reaction.
Oh, I got whiplash.
Parakeet is one of the great sidekicks in here. I swear to you, he never fails to disappoint. Okay, I just got whiplash. Now notice, Otangelo is not coming in and insisting that they believe his perspective. All he's simply talking about is their perspective. Okay, how do you explain your world absent a creator, right? And so he responds, and then Otangelo gives a brief commentary. So okay, so basically you're telling me it's materialism of the gaps, which he tries to deny. Now she's getting bitchy. Now she's pissed. And so this is what they do. Since they cannot defend their model of reality, which they want you to adopt unspoken, right? They just want you just to grant, that stuff, everything just is, everything is just running the way it is. So immediately she gets bitchy. And, how do you know your view is correct? See, doesn't this show you the shallowness of her thinking?
Don't know if materialism is true, but we hope that one time we will find an answer. So that is the materialism of the gaps argument.
So
how do you know that God creating everything is true? How do you know that God creating everything is true? Or I'm getting cranky now. How do you know? Look, how do you know? How do you know?
Well,
how do you know?
There are two.
Why is she being so aggressive?
There are two.
Because she's a scum. Okay.
She's desperate to not defend her position and just put the monkey on his. It's a tactic whenever you're losing, you go on the offensive, right? The best defense is a good offense, as they say.
Shift the burden.
Yeah, and you remember, this is the broad who has an email that she created herself called Elevate the Discourse. Okay? Now, is she acting like an adult here, or is she acting like a little scorned teenage girl?
The two propositions. That's a true dichotomy. Either there is a God or there is no God. Do you agree with that?
Uh-huh. Do I agree with the fact that the question?
Wait a minute. I think she's gonna. I think she's gonna say. I think she's gonna say. I like cheesecake. Right? She's gonna talk about cheesecake here.
There is a God or there is no God is a valid question. Is it? Yeah, but that's not. You don't answer my question with a question.
She literally. Okay.
Wait a minute. He's not talking about his worldview. All he wants to know is the coherence of your worldview. That's the only thing he was doing, right?
Which she can't do.
And now what she's doing is she's trying to change the parameter of the subject rather than her unpack her worldview, which they now know they can't do. Now, how do you know your belief is true, right? And then when you just simply respond to her by saying, listen, we have a dichotomous situation. Since you don't accept one pole of the dichotomy, why is it that you're picking the other pole of the dichotomy, okay? And she's now getting hostile.
I ask you how you know. How do you know? How do you know that God created? How do you know? Because your criticism of Paul...
Now notice again right here. And by the way, just for you guys should know, there's some type of romantic relationship going on between the two of them. They both have admitted it. Okay, so this is why she's getting her nails out like a cat. Okay, right? You understand? Okay, because now Paul is not being shown to be this smart. So now she's getting hostile to. Leave my boyfriend alone. Leave. What was her name again?
Leave Brittany alone.
Leave Brittany alone. That's what's going on here. Okay. Why all of a sudden? Listen, I've known Otangelo for a while now. Okay, I knew him from a while ago, and then we lost connection with him, and he recently encountered again. Otangelo is a nice guy. He's not rough and tumble and rough around the edges like Darth Dawkins. Why is there any reason to be nasty to Otangelo? Okay. Did you send her some hate mail, Otangelo?
Never. It was actually my first interaction with her. She never met me before.
Yeah. So what you've done is you've asked a very clear, circumspect question that he can't answer. And now she's pissed because now you're making her lover boy here look like a fool, right? And this is why she's pissed. And by the way, like I said, this isn't Darth Dawkins. This is Otangelo.
Now you go on to answer the question, but you could just say, "Well, I never said that." I'm asking you a question.
Yeah, I know. See, I want everyone to be cognizant of this. What you just saw in here is a classic tactic. When you start asking about their worldview and they can't defend it, then what they want to do is they want to make the issue is, well, we're not advancing a worldview. Our position is we don't know. They're going to feign like they're neutral, but they're
We don't
not
have a
neutral.
worldview.
Wait a minute. I could play right now. I wish I had it queued up. But she was on with some clown who's a former drug addict named Miss Vision, who has a hate fetish for the Bible. And he interviews her, and she categorically states pretty much she's a strong, positive atheist, that there's no possibility that there's a God, right? Now, why isn't she defending that now? You see how they talk out of both sides of their mouth, right? When they're with their compatriots, their comrades, they'll make statements about that God doesn't exist. But when they're in situations like this, then they pretend like, oh, we're just unconvinced. What's your proof that there's a God?
Then the mask comes up, like slides up from out of frame across their face.
Yeah.
All is that he said, well, we can't know, and you would have to give the same answer. And if you're going to be honest, you're going to have to say, I don't know now too. And then that's
why is she angry?
Yeah.
If you say anything else other than I tell you, you're not honest.
By the way, I'm saving this. And Otangela, I want to thank you for letting me know about this. This is classic, right?
I have many interactions. I called in at the Talk Heathens and the Atheist Experience 8 times, and then I called also here in sequence.
Well, this is we do. If you have any more stuff like this that's good, that's up to this caliber, this is great for reviewing stuff. Okay, look at her faux sona, as what's his name said, Red Fane. Her faux sona is now off. Now she's pissed because the vacuousness of their position has been revealed, right? And now what she wants to do is she wants to represent her position as though, well, we don't know and neither do you. Okay? And so you need to join our side that we don't know. Right? But that's not what she said to Myth Vision. Would somebody do me a favor? I need a volunteer. Okay? Right? Do I have a volunteer who will do it'll take about 5-10 minutes. I need a volunteer. Someone. Don't everybody raise your hands at once. Supreme Leader, are you there? Or Truth Speller? Anybody here? I guess not. Brojo, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
I need somebody. I want you to go onto Myth Vision, the podcast. Find the one where Shannon Koo was on recently. And about the middle of the conversation, I need somebody to find me the timestamp where she admits that it's as close to impossible that God can exist. All right? Can Brojo, you do that for me, or somebody else? Because I want to play it with this.
Darth,
So
one thing I've learned in my few years is that when someone says, "Can you do me a favor?" and they don't tell you what it is first, just don't answer.
Yep.
I know nothing. Because I don't want to stop the stream and look for it myself. But it's about halfway through with Myth Vision.
That's God of the gaps. So then you have to prove you're God. So off you go. How do you know? Don't answer.
Why this is amazing. Why the hostility? Because you want to know something? Otangelo just made Paul look like a fool. Okay?
Also, I know the reference. That's a Schultz reference.
Well,
by the way,
yeah, that's Hogan's Heroes. I know nothing.
Well, I think this is one of Shannon Q's. You know how different people have their different go-tos.
Yeah.
One of Shannon Q's is self-righteous indignance.
Yeah, that is true. That is a tactic that they will selectively use in certain situations in order to change the direction of the conversation. It's the faux
She did it with you.
indignation. Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, make sure when you get the chance, you look at James White and Jeff Durbin's debate with those two atheists. I don't know if you
Oh
saw it,
yes, that was
but
so
that
good.
was
Oh,
my
that guy!
God.
Oh, that guy! Well, what you guys don't know is I had access
Drink
to
the
the.
bleach. Drink it. Drink. Or maybe it wasn't bleach.
By
It was
the way,
anti. Drink it.
I have access to the original video, and the video has a wider perspective on it, and you can actually see the men in the white coats ready to take away that atheist doctor. That's how
that was
crazy.
so good.
That
Yeah,
guy
can you
was.
believe
Wow.
that guy was so? I mean, he was throwing the Bible in the trash. I mean, what kind
Wait,
of
what
debate
debate?
was that?
Just
It
we'll
was.
look up Jeff Durbin and James White on YouTube. Debate.
Somebody should have told that guy it wasn't like a therapeutic session for him to get out his hatred against God. It's supposed to be a debate.
But look, this wasn't just some angry internet atheist. This is a guy who has a PhD, right? He's involved. That guy, that maniac, is from what I recollect, he's involved in making highly technical prosthetic appliances for people who have lost limbs.
Somebody said, I don't know who, said that maybe it was in the debate or maybe it was someone else, but they said that they'd seen him talk before. And when he's not talking about the subject of God, he's like a completely different person.
Yes, yeah.
I think this is the one.
Mr. Hyde. Yeah, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. All right, so hopefully, well, if nobody finds it tonight, I will certainly find it tomorrow, and I will juxtapose her faux persona here of not knowing versus her claim when she's talking with Myth Vision that she has near certainty that God doesn't exist. See, this is why it's so hard dealing with these people, because they are not committed to being honest.
Answer it with a question.
Yeah, these
I'm
people.
hot, I'm
Honestly,
tired.
I was just re-listening to Dillahunty's bash of his parents, and where he said that they did some cowardly. Well, you've heard the garbage. I really, honestly, these guys need to be eviscerated in debate, and they have to be debated where they cannot have any control, or they will dominate the discussion.
Yeah, exactly. What Brojo just said is bullseye. It is absolutely true. This is why in these call-in shows they're able to not get decimated. It's because they can take anything you say and manipulate it and try to segue down a semi-related rabbit trail, and then they'll come up with the faux indignation. They're garbage.
Not only that, for a fact that they're not coming out of an argument out of good faith. They're just spewing garbage, and because they're dominating the conversation, they can get away with it because they're the ones that are dominating the conversation.
We have to recognize that Dillahunty had hoped that his parents would respect him, and now they sent him a birthday card where they told him that they wanted him to repent, and he thought it was cowardly, and it was worth, he said,
Yeah, he was crying.
relationships with his parents. And then now here's what's amazing to me. He said the motivation of doing that whole video was this. He said, so that what they planned to do, which was to evangelize him, would be used for atheists to be further hardened in their belief. That's what he said. But he doesn't even recognize he presented the gospel to over 400,000 people.
Stop. Okay, when you hear Darth Dawkins say stop, it means stop. Okay? It's like a police officer, show me your hands! Show me your hands! Go back 2 sentences and repeat, Brojo.
So that they would be hardened in their unbelief.
No, go back a sentence before that.
Did I say it was
basically you're just gonna start all the way over?
No, you just said something about Dillahunty wants people to be hardened in their unbelief.
Yeah. He basically said that his motivation for doing that was so that what his parents thought would be bringing him to conversion would be used so that atheists could relate to that story and be further hardened in their unbelief.
Yeah. There's more faux outrage there.
There's an atheist calling you out in VC.
In that episode, he also said, I don't want to have nothing with that thing. So God for him isn't a person, it's a thing.
Well, do you really think it's full outrage?
All right. Yeah. I think it's a combination of some real anger and some faux outrage. Okay. This is a tactic that people try to pull. When they're communicating to people, that if they pull faux outrage, then people will be more apt to believe you. Did Mr. Jesus voted Joe? You wanted to say something?
The new challenger approaches.
I just want to ask the gentleman named Mr. Brojo if he's ever had a conversation with an atheist before.
Yeah, we've had numerous conversations with atheists. Why do you ask?
Well, me and you have actually spoken in the past. I think about 4 times, and we had, I believe, pretty productive conversations. And I heard that gentleman speaking, and he said, he's kind of trying to cast a general assertion or like a blanket statement about atheists. And I don't really think that's how we operate in a mental sort of sense. I think, we're not really trying to attack Jesus or God or anything like that, or any sort of God.
All right, dude, listen to me. Stop right there. Okay.
He was talking about Matt Dillahunty and what he said.
Hold on a second. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. When you pick a username, Jesus voted Joe, and then you pick the traditional Catholic Jesus here, you're not putting that out of sincerity of devotion and belief in Jesus, are you?
Well, the reason I put that was because I believe Jesus is more of like a hipster, or not hipster, hippie.
Okay,
or like
dude, listen to me.
So it's meant to be inflammatory.
Okay, you have 2 strikes now. Okay, one more strike, and I'm not just going to kick you. I'm going to ban you. Okay. Not only are you trolling, you're now lying to us. Okay. So don't troll and don't lie. You are now lying.
Okay, I apologize.
Stop with this bullshit that you think Jesus was a hipster, because that's an outright lie. Because if you actually believe that and you're not lying, you're insane.
Well, maybe not hipster. Maybe the better word would be a pacifist.
No, that's you listen. What's the?
He said, "I
first,
came not to bring peace, but a sword."
Okay,
How
all
is
right,
that a pacifist?
everybody, be quiet. Okay, I'm just going to change your name to. Okay.
Also, why is it the Catholic Jesus? I thought that there was just one Jesus.
I said the typical Catholic picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now I changed your name to Voted Joe. Now, now I had a Joe Biden moment here. I just lost my train of thought of what I was going to say to you.
He was saying Brojo mischaracterized atheists.
Okay.
In
Yeah.
some way.
Okay. So why don't you let's see how fast you quickly start being deceptive or prevaricating. So why are you an atheist?
Well, I was actually raised. It's funny you said Catholic because I was
No,
raised.
stop. I didn't ask you about your biography. I'm asking about right now on this day, okay, March 21st, 2021. Why today are you an atheist?
Because of my experiences with the church and the lack of evidence I've seen for God.
Okay. Now, first of all, the fact that some people who claim to believe in God may have mistreated you, even if we say they kidnapped, tortured you, and killed you, it wouldn't follow from that there's no God. Are we clear on that?
I agree, yes.
Okay, so what that first part is absolutely fallacious.
Well, I would say maybe my reason for Christianity in particular.
No, listen to me. You need to focus. Did you take your Adderall today? Focus. Listen to my words. Okay, I'm sure English is your first language. Your first line of reasoning why there's no God is entirely fallacious.
All right, well then we can just use a second one then that I don't see.
Okay, no, you sir, listen to me. You need to focus. Is it true, now that I've given you a response, that your first line of reasoning that God does not exist because some religious people may have mistreated you, it doesn't logically follow from that there's no God. So that is fallacious what you said there.
Well, yes, of course, but you did ask me why I didn't believe in God.
Okay. Now, so your first line of reasoning, the first words out of your mouth were fallacious. Now we're going to go to the second part. You say that there's no evidence for God. Is that correct?
Well, if I may say, you asked me why I don't believe in God. You didn't say why is there no God. So I gave you my personal reasoning.
That's a distinction with no difference.
Well, it's actually a gigantic difference.
No, it is not a gigantic difference. Okay.
Well,
You
that
you
was
have fooled. Listen to me carefully. You, like all the other schmuck atheists all over the internet, have fooled yourself into believing that. Okay. Either you believe in God or you don't believe in God. Okay.
at
If
this
you
moment.
don't, right. If you don't positively believe in God, then what you do believe, by implication, entails the falsity of God. You will then believe that facts do not necessitate referencing the necessity of God. And I will demonstrate it by asking you one simple question. Do you believe that it is necessary to reference God as the necessary precondition of facts?
No, I do not.
Good. Then your position entails the falsity of God, in spite of the fact that you're trying to characterize your position as being without a belief in God. That also entails that you're not denying God. So now we're clear. You believe that it's not necessary to reference God as the precondition of all facts. So that means that what you believe is that facts are independent of God. Are we clear?
Yes, I would call myself a hard atheist.
Good. So then you believe there is no God. Now, what is your second line of reasoning, that there is no creator God?
Well, I would actually posit that it's impossible for God to exist because the concept of being omnipotent, omnibenevolent, omnipresent, and omniscient all in one being is logically impossible and coherent. It would be basically a frozen statue. It wouldn't be capable of doing anything.
Okay. Are there times that people can think something is not coherent when it is?
Sure.
Okay. So then explain to me how these concepts are not. Well, first of all, let me point out that would only entail a specific type of God, an omni-property God. But you see, you're an atheist. You do not believe that there is any ultimate creator God. So that does not exclude that there is a creator God who does not possess omni-properties.
I wanted to find that as a God.
Okay, no, that would be defined as a God. God is defined in terms of a minimalist definition. God is that which is ultimate and fundamental, the source of all possibility and impossibility, and is a mind. Okay? Now, whether or not that God possesses additional attributes is for a future discussion. But you don't believe that any God exists. You don't believe that an omni-property God exists. And you don't believe that a God who is ultimate and fundamental and eternal, that doesn't possess omni-properties, you don't believe that exists either. And saying it's not a God, of course it's a God, because you're just simply defining a God by a certain attribute set. Okay?
I think we actually agree on that attribute property set because
Good. No, sir. Listen to me carefully. Okay? God is that which is whatever is eternal, ultimate, absolute, unconditionally non-dependent, and the source and basis of all possibility and impossibility, and is a mind. Okay? Whether or not that has additional properties is for another discussion. So you do not believe that there's whatever is fundamental is personal. Whatever is fundamental, if it's personal, all right, then that's what we call God. And you don't believe that exists, right?
Correct.
Right. Now, what is your rationale then? Because appealing to the putative omni-properties, it doesn't cut it in at least two ways, right? So before we get to even to that discussion, which is peripherally related, you need to resolve the issue that in order to say that God does not exist, you're going to have to tell me then what it is that is fundamental, that is ultimate, and is the source of all possibility and is impersonal. What is that?
It is one of God's attributes that he is eternal.
Okay. Do you need me to repeat the question?
Well, I'm trying to formulate my
Do you know what it is metaphysically that is fundamental to everything and is the source of all possibility and impossibility? Do you know what that is?
Well, I think if I had the answer to that question, I'd be a multimillionaire.
Yeah, dude, listen to me. Well, then, so you don't know then. So then you cannot rule out. Therefore, what is fundamental and the source of all possibility, that it could possess the attribute of personhood. Can you rule that out?
Not with absolute certainty.
No, I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you about your state of psychological confidence. I said, can you rule it out? It makes no difference to me what level of confidence you have. All I want to know is, can you rule that out?
No, I cannot.
Good. Then your atheism is without reason. Therefore, your atheism is irrational.
Well, I'm attempting to explain the rationale behind it.
Well, listen to me. Either you're trolling, which I suspect you are. Listen. In order to say there is no God, you're saying that there is not something that is fundamental, that is personal, that is the source of all possibility. The only way that you could defend that is to show that what is fundamental and the source of all possibility is impersonal. Can you do that?
Potentially.
I don't want to know potentially. Either you can do it or not. Don't give me these half-baked quasi answers. Potentially. I mean, can you imagine? Do you have a driver's license?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever been pulled over by a traffic officer?
I've been pulled over twice.
Good. Did they ever ask you for your driver's license?
Yes, they did.
And what did you say? The officer says, do you have a driver's license and registration? Do you look at him and say, potentially?
I actually looked at him and said no.
Oh, so you drive without a license?
Well, the first time I did, but the second time I didn't have my license because I lost it the first time.
So if you're pulled over tomorrow and the cop says to you, do you have a driver's license? And he says, can you produce it? Are you going to answer him potentially?
Well, if I'm talking to a police officer, honestly, I might.
Okay, you're a moron. Get out of here. You're wasting my time.
Dude better go. Dude better go equip his big floppy shoes.
That's so. Oh gosh, that's terrible. But I understand.
He needs to go to
Wait for it. Wait a minute. Wait. He graduated magna cum laude from Clown College. Right?
Oh, God.
Right? And listen, not to ridicule him. I mean, that's quite an achievement to graduate magna cum laude from Clown College. But he also was a part of the fraternity of Tap a Keg of Beer. Okay?
I don't even know.
All right. And speaking of clowns, let's get back to the clown show of Shannon Q and her romantic buddy boy Paul. And notice, I've never seen her in all the times I've seen her on TV. Excuse me, I'm showing my age on video. I've never seen her get this kind of hostile. She wasn't even this hostile with me, right? Me interrogating her, right? It's because you just made her little lover boy there look like a fool. This is why the claws come out. All right, let's continue.
And I feel like you're being dishonest, and I'm not in the mood.
Has anybody heard Otangelo being dishonest here?
Shannon Q's not in the mood for dishonesty.
So this is another tactic here, okay? When you pin them down and they feel uncomfortable or they feel inadequate or inept to answer the circumspect question, then it's time to reach into their little bag of tricks, faux outrage, right? And then to impugn you. Oh, you're being dishonest. Otangelo did nothing dishonest. You just don't like his characterization, right? And
it's amazing how much atheists' behavior imitates Satan's behavior. God says that Satan slanders us.
Yeah, and that was it. That was a slanderous remark. There was nothing that could be construed as dishonesty here. But look, you made her boyfriend look foolish, and that's why she's pissed. Now, notice when you first asked the question, she deferred to her bro, right? She laughed and giggled like a schoolgirl, and, oh, Paul, why don't you take this? But then when Paul is made to look like a fool, then she jumps in with the claws and the fangs.
Paul choked.
Yeah.
I started first to define a framework upon which making an investigation. And that framework is a true dichotomy where we have, on the one side, the proposition that there is
How do you
no
know God created the?
Okay, now notice, Antangelo is not trying to be a blowhard. He's not doing a community college lecture. He's just simply trying to lay out the framework here, and she immediately jumps in like a hostile bitch.
Created the
And on
universe.
the other side, we have the proposition.
Okay, why is she peppering Otangelo like this? It's because she knows that neither she or Paul can answer the worldview question. Okay?
Well, if you don't want to get shot, it's best to put them under heavy suppressive fire, right?
You know what? I don't know how you do this. You do it every day. You never slip up. It's she's putting down suppressive fire. Very good, Parakeet. Exactly right. Excellent.
How do you know God created the universe? Why is there something instead of nothing? And that the answer to that question is God. There either is or isn't a God. Sure, I'll accept that.
Well,
I don't think there is. You think that there is?
Okay, did you hear that? I don't think there is. Now, when I talk with her, she goes, "Oh, she goes, I'm a temporal agnostic. I don't think anyone can know, right?" But now, guess what? She slipped up again in her anger. She says, "I don't think there is a God." In other words, she believes there is no God. It's not that she's unconvinced. It's not that she's neutral. It's not that she's an agnostic. She just said it. She does not believe there is a God. It's not that she is without a positive belief in God. She believes there's no God. We all heard it right there. I'm going to play that back.
Why is there something instead of nothing? And that the answer to that question is God. There either is or isn't a God. Sure, I'll accept that.
Well,
I don't think there is. You think that there is. How do we know that He created the universe? Because if your criticism is that we have to say I don't know, you're going to have to just really look in a mirror and recognize that you
I don't
also
think
have
it's
to
I
say
don't
that.
know. It's like you have a negation to like.
Wow. See, this is, okay, remember how we talked about, do you remember how we talked about Matt Bloviator's meltdown over Mommy and Daddy sending him a birthday card, and that this is an important video for all online Christians to watch? So we can, this is a glimpse into what their psyche really is. Notice her faux-sona that she puts on, on camera all the time, happy-go-lucky, laughing, giggling, Miss Shiny Lipstick, Miss Eye Makeup, right, Miss Puckered Lips, and now look how vicious she's come out. Otangelo has done nothing wrong. He has been his conduct has been impeccable. His words have been clear. He's not rambling. He's not being argumentative. Why all this hostility by this broad? It's because her true colors are coming out. She has a deep-seated hatred toward the idea that there's a God. Okay, this is because you're exposing the vacuousness and the bankruptcy of their position. Notice that Paul's just sitting there like a bump on the log. Look at him; he's just sitting there.
The 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah. I guess we know who wears the pants in that relationship.
You're making an assertion.
What he didn't make an assertion that God exists. He just says we have a dichotomy.
Well, he did say he's a Christian earlier at the start.
That's besides the point. That's just for disclosure. Okay, he wasn't asserting that they should accept that God exists. The topic of now notice this is classic atheist tactics. Okay, notice how they totally twisted the scope of the question. The scope of the question is, how do you explain your world without a creator? That's all he want. That's all Otangelo was doing. Right? And she's furious. Okay?
That was the whole premise.
Yeah. Boy, Otangelo, I can't believe what a great video this is. When was this done? August. Oh my gosh. If you have any more great videos about that, let us know, because this is video review gold here. This is priceless.
That's the difference. Paul's not making an assertion. He's saying, true, I don't
First
know.
of all,
You're saying, I know God created it. I don't know how. I have.
Yeah. See, here's another thing. Here's another failure of logic. Paul's not making an assertion. Well, of course he is. What he's asserting is that this world can be understood in part and incrementally into the future without the necessity of referencing God. Now, does anybody in here dispute what I just said?
No.
Okay?
And he did earlier. He did make a naturalism of the gaps.
Yeah. Right.
So he was asserting naturalism. He was saying.
So when we get to the heart of what atheism is, when we get to the heart of how irrational it is, for some atheists, this is what happens. In the bag of tricks is faux outrage. Okay? It's to paint you that you're the bad guy, right?
I have no way of proving it. Therefore, I'm better. I win. Mic drop. Also, there's a dichotomy, and it doesn't get that way.
Notice Paul's silence. Okay? She has said nothing substantive. All she's just spewed is verbal hostility and invectives. Right? And again, he continues to sit there, like the bump on the log, while she just spews belligerence.
First of all, Shannon, if you make a show,
Did you see her reaction right there? Did you see her eye? You see that? Let me play that back. After she spews all of this hostility and viciousness, right? And Otangelo responds, first of all, Shannon, and she has this look like you're being nasty. Watch.
Also, there's a dichotomy, and it doesn't get that way.
How dare you? How dare you speak her name? You need to say ma'am. Yeah. Excuse me, ma'am.
First of all, Shannon, if you make a show, then your show has a purpose, and you don't demonstrate that your show has a purpose because you say we don't have an explanation. We don't.
I can make a show with no purpose, and that's not the question I asked you. I'm going to ask you the question again. How do?
Yeah. Now you see, this is what they do when you start asking them questions that they can't answer, or they are very uncomfortable to answer. Then what they do is they pepper you with a semi-related question to change the parameters of the discussion. Okay? She is being entirely deceitful here. Okay?
Purpose because you say we don't have an explanation. We don't.
I can make a show with no purpose, and that's not the question I asked you. I'm going to ask you the question again. How do you know God created the universe? That's what you asked. Paul, answer the question yourself.
No, that's not what he asked. Wow. And she claims she claims to be college educated. That is not the question he asked Paul. What he said is, in your creator-free world, how do you explain your world when it is not? It doesn't originate in a creator. That's all. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It's really a basic question. I don't know why they're struggling. But.
Yeah.
Or I am going to get cranky. Stop changing the subject.
That's precisely what she was. Stop. You see the tactic here, right? Now what she's doing is she's trying with this faux outrage to put him on the defensive here, right? When all he's simply asking about their worldview, and then she falsely accuses him of changing the subject. Guess what? Shannon Q. Duck Lips. He is on topic. He hasn't changed it. She's the one who has changed the topic of the conversation.
Why?
And she.
Why is she keen on gaslighting like this? Like, I'm not understanding the.
Have you not? Oh, well, this is what she does when she's in an uncomfortable situation. She is the queen of gaslighting. Have you seen her interaction with me on Modern Day Debate?
No, I probably should.
Oh, are you in for a treat? You're going to see the. Oh,
I was going to
Go
say,
on.
this reminds me of a little kid who hits another little kid and then says, "Stop hitting me," and hits him again, says, "Stop hitting me."
yeah, yeah. You know what? There he goes again. Parakeet never fails. Okay, so Tom.
I was basically exposing that if they do not have an explanation of how we can exist without a creator, then why are they making a show? They have nothing to offer.
You're right. Listen, Otangelo, your appearance today or on this show, what you said, it's picture perfect. There wouldn't be one thing that you said that I can think of right now that I would change. It's just absolute perfection here. And it's going to the heart of the issue. This is why she's pissed. Because Paul is sitting there like look at him, deer in the headlights. Okay? Look at the screen, okay? Look at him, the deer in the headlights. Look at her. Look at the laser beams coming out of her eyes, right? She's ready to kill you. She's pissed because you have humiliated her boyfriend. Okay, so Tonko, I want you to go onto YouTube and just type in modern day debate, Shannon Q, and it should be Duncan Atheism. I don't think it says Darth Dawkins. I think it's Duncan Atheism. That's another screen name that I have, right? And watch it tonight or tomorrow. And you are going to see Shannon Q. And by the way, do you know what Q stands for in her name? She's the queen of gaslighting, right? So watch that video, and you're going to see her gaslight like you've never seen.
Okay. First of all, nobody has absolute answers or knowledge in regards
Then
to
you're on the
origin.
same grounding.
All we can
You're on the
do
same
is,
grounding. Your criticism is invalid.
Right?
This is what happens, okay? Her boyfriend looks like a dope, and she becomes a super rude bitch.
But by the way, I was going to say, you haven't answered, but the answer to that question is that God revealed it. The way we know He made the universe, because He revealed it.
Yeah, we know that, but you haven't even had a chance to get to that point. But you see, this is why. This is what they always do. They want to change from discussing the coherence and intelligibility of their position to. They don't want to discuss it. They want to shoot their mouth off about their position, but they don't want their position to be scrutinized. They simply want you to shut up and grant their position.
And all we can do is use abductive inference to the best.
Well, I would disagree with you there, Otangelo, but we'll talk about that later.
In regards of origins, and that means that we can evaluate the evidence in the natural world or eventually direct revelation of a creator, and then we can see if there are better alternative explanations without the creator, and then see what makes most sense. And I
but
do
you were
not
talking about a
see any
dichotomy.
way how we can posit that makes sense that our existence can be explained without the creator. Now, we can, by all means, explain our existence with good arguments that there is a creator. The first thing is that the universe had a beginning, and then it had a cause, and that cause must be God.
How do you know the universe had a beginning?
Position. Then the second we have.
Yeah, Otangelo. So
there
these are
good scientific explanations. The consensus.
No, so
the consensus
going
in
back to this
science is that.
Honey, what I think you need is a science.
I bet she's gonna reject consensus as well. It's gonna be fun.
He's muted. Go ahead, and then I'm gonna hang up
Okay.
on him because he's making me cranky because I don't think he's being honest in this.
You know what? You see what a fraud this broad is? You see what a fraud she is? Okay. Now, I disagree with the last thing that Otangelo said. Okay. We can discuss that at another time, right? Doesn't matter in terms of, what's going on here. She accuses him, she's angry, and she's accusing him of being dishonest. So when an atheist accuses somebody like Otangelo of being dishonest, what they really means is, you have asked me a question to explain my position that I can't or I refuse to answer. So I'm going to turn the tables on you, and I'm going to throw suppressing fire, as Parakeet put it, and make you the bad guy. She says she's going to hang up on him. He has done nothing wrong. Nothing.
It's hard to see what he could have said that was dishonest since he was barely even able to talk.
Nothing. I disagree with the abduction remark, but that's something we can discuss tomorrow or the next day. But other than that, he hasn't done any. He hasn't been. There was no impropriety. There's no deceit. There's no guile. There's no dishonesty. Right? You see, and she's ready to hang up. Right? Because now both of them realize they don't have the intellectual high ground. So, what do I do now?
I think Shannon Q at her core is a big old slanderer.
Yeah. Well, look what she did with me.
Right. You were talking about this
presuppositional. Bleh. Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
Yeah, and presuppositional. Bleh, okay.
And shows your worldview.
Now, what is okay? Notice the hatred toward biblical presuppositionalism is because they know they don't have an answer.
But the thing is, Ontangelo didn't even offer a presuppositional line of reasoning.
No, you're right. You're right. He didn't. He's just simply focusing on the inadequacy of their position. But you see, at least she's suspecting that it's coming from a presuppositional framework, and she's pissed.
I think the second they hear a Christian that sounds intellectual, even if it's an evidentialist, they just instantly are triggered by it.
Yeah. This is an unbelievably great video that I'm going to save in my own personal archives as a teaching tool of how atheists will act in certain situations. This is a classic textbook case.
Sorry, I'm cranky, everybody. This is my usual self.
About a dichotomy, and
yeah, that's because your boyfriend is being made to look like a fool.
No, so you take any classic example of dichotomies, like we took all of the coins in the world. There is either an even number of coins in the world.
Here we go again. It never fails. It never fails. This is the ineptness of the atheists on full display. Whenever the atheists are bringing up the even odd scenario, okay, there's an even or an odd number of fundamental particles or electrons. There's an even or an odd number of jelly beans or gumballs, right? And even an odd number of coins, right? This is a category error, right?
Even if it wasn't a category error, Shannon Q early in the conversation has already said she does not believe God exists.
Good. Now, but you see, she also contradicted herself by saying that they were both in the same boat because neither one of us know. So then she's just basically admitted that she believes in a scenario that there's no God.
Oh,
she doesn't have a rationale by it.
She said, "I believe God does not exist." Excuse me.
Yes, that's right. But then she also said that both of their worldviews, we don't know ultimate answers, which means she doesn't have a rationale for believing that there's no God. All right? She's just basically admitted by those two statements, she's conceded to irrationalism, that her atheism is irrational. Now, they'll try to put lipstick on a pig, no pun intended. They'll try to put lipstick on a pig and say that they're just incredulous. They're unconvinced. But this is not their case because she admitted she believes there's no God
in the world. or an odd number of coins in the world. That's it's a proper dichotomy. But do I personally have enough information to tell you if there are even number of coins in the world or an odd number of coins in the world? No. And we don't argue by inference on whether there's an even number.
Yeah. Well, here's the bottom line. We have to rattle their cages, so to speak, that their position is not just simply a withholding of a positive belief. Okay? If you withhold positive belief in God, then you positively believe that God does not exist, even if you claim that you're not denying God. Right? This is the little game that they all want to play because they know they can't defend the falsity of God. So they've got to represent their atheism as an autobiographical statement whereby they're just unconvinced. There's an even or an odd number of coins in the world.
Number of coins in the world or an odd number of coins. Just because you've created a dichotomy doesn't mean you currently have enough information to solve this dichotomy.
So do you see how he's now trying to cast atheism? We're just unconvinced. We want to believe, right? But you see, that's not what Shannon Q said earlier. She stated positively she believed there was no God. Did she state she's positively neutral earlier? No, she didn't. She stated she positively did not believe in God. Now, listen, her lovely boyfriend here actually heard her say she positively does not believe in God, but now he's trying to represent both of their positions as though we are indecisive. We don't have enough information to decide whether there's an even or an odd number of coins.
On a superficial level, not that it really matters, but even or odd isn't even a dichotomy. It's not even a true dichotomy anyway, the way he's phrasing it.
Why not?
You could have zero. There could be 0 coins in the world.
Yeah, you could say that.
You'd have to say either there's an even number or not an even number.
Yeah.
Of course,
that's a good point. Thank you.
Of course, any God you might posit that is all powerful will answer any question. So that's an unimpressive feat, and I'm not going to go into the other arguments that he half presented because I have many videos on my channels talking about all those things. And
have we yet to hear an answer to the question that Otangelo has called in about? How do you explain your world without a creator? Have we heard them answer that? No, we haven't.
Shannon wants to carry on from there, but his yes, neither of us know, and if we
wait a minute, hold on a second. So then, if neither of us know, is Paul here referring to Paul and Otangelo, or is he talking about Paul and Shannon Q, or is he being all inclusive there? Because Shannon Q just says that she positively believes there's no God. So then that means that she believes there's no God irrationally, right? We
had wanted to get into the assumptions being made. That's one thing or another, but neither of us know. And it seemed like I was the only person on the call comfortable.
Well, here's the thing that he said. He says neither of us know. What he's saying is, and I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but this is what he's saying. What he's saying here is, based upon all the facts that we are acquainted with, they do not necessitate referencing the necessity of God. When he says we do not know, then he's saying what we do know is that the facts we are acquainted with do not necessitate referencing God. Which then he believes that facts are to be understood as not being necessarily dependent or derivational from God. Right? Well, that position entails the falsity of God, whether they want to realize it or not. This is what I want you fellow Christians to understand, and including any atheists in the room. They cannot escape this. Nobody is neutral. Okay? They keep on trying to pretend like they're neutral. But every once in a while, they inadvertently let it slip out, like Shannon Q. Ducklips just did. She admitted previously that she believes there's no God, so she's not neutral. So if she doesn't know there's no God, but she believes there's no God, that means she's believing a worldview without rational grounds, which is violating her criterion of belief. She says, how do you know that there's a God? Because then if you don't give her an answer, she's going to say to you, well, you're believing in God without any reason. But then she's believing in not God, that she believes that there is no God without a reason. So she's violating her own criterion of belief.
We were the only side on the call comfortable with we don't currently have enough information. If that's the answer, that's the answer.
Yeah, you're off mute. You can talk again on Tangelo.
Well, I disagree with you, Paul. I think that's amazing. Sharon, you asked me what evidence that I have to propose a creator, and I think there is smacking and amazing evidence in regards of providing points to a creator. And I started with you interrupted me, but I can give you a series of excellent arguments. The first that I mentioned is the beginning of the universe, the fine-tuning of the universe, the beginning of life. There is no scientific explanation how life began. Evolution is an
Yeah, you don't find it impressive. Do you have a rebuttal to it? Okay, is there a rebuttal?
Explanation which doesn't satisfactorily explain the biodiversity on Earth. We have no satisfactory explanation of consciousness, the moral argument. We know that objective moral values exist, therefore a God must.
Yes, mommy. Yes, mom. Yes, mommy.
Could you imagine having her as like a girlfriend or a wife? Could you imagine?
Hold on a second here. Supreme Leader came through for us.
No, that's Cafe. Thank Cafe.
Oh, Cafe did that? All right, hold on a second.
Wait, what happened?
All right, hold on.
A rational definition. So I would be on the hard atheism side.
Oh, thank you, commercial.
Is where I think that don't really provide a rational definition. So I would be on the hard atheism side of things where I think that it's not even necessarily conceivably possible. But I like I like the chart. It's interesting. It's very cool. I like the belief in.
See, there again, she confirms that she's a hard atheist, but then she likes to lie and double talk about it, depending on the environment that she's in.
Nonetheless,
I think this is going to get too hairy because then we'll get into what I would consider.
I need to find. Okay, here we are. We're back again. Okay.
Hey, bro.
You're on mute. All right, he's on mute again, and I actually think I'm going to drop him because I don't think that he's actually willing to have a conversation. He just wants to.
You see what a lying piece of garbage she is? Okay. In other words, that if you don't buckle under, if you don't suck up to her prevarication and her derailing the question, then you see this is the smear campaign. Oh, he's being dishonest. He's not willing to have a conversation. See, this was the shtick that she was trying to pull when she tried to, put some icing on a smelly dog turd, where she said she was just trying to have a conversation when she knew full well that I'm a strong theist, Christian theist, and then she tried to make it look like I was the bad guy, and she just wanted to have cookies and tea. She just makes my skin crawl.
Proclaim things, and he's not actually answering questions. He's just responding with.
No, he's responding according to the parameters of the question that he called in. He's not being bamboozled by you're trying to rattle his cage by changing the subject. Okay? See, notice she's accusing him of being dishonest when that is the very thing that she's doing right there. So in other words, if you don't go along with her prevarication, then you're dishonest, right? You know, there's a funny movie. It's called Hail Caesar, and it was starring George Clooney, and he's an actor in Hollywood in the 1940s who gets kidnapped, and he's kidnapped by some local communists, and so they kidnap him and they hold him for ransom, and then while they get the ransom, they're in a communist group meeting, and the communists in California say, well, why don't we just keep the ransom money for ourselves? And the head communist says, no, that wouldn't be ethical. You know, this is the kind of crap that she's pulling right here, accusing him of being dishonest when that is the very essence of what she's doing here. She's very dishonest here.
More assertions, and I owe everyone an apology for me being this cranky. I'm sorry. I'm just that.
So she wasn't just being deceitful. She wasn't being deceptive. Oh, she's just cranky.
Bro, look at her face. She looks like...
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So see, well, actually, there's a French word for what she characterized as cranky. I think the French word is bitch.
That is the last call. Was like my mental health straw, I think, for today. So I should probably apologize to Aunt Tangela.
Wow. So that phone call causes her to have mental health problems? What a shallow human being. Gosh.
For not being as patient as I usually am. But I'm done.
I don't know why there's no more sound.
Yes.
Oh. All right, I know. I got to switch my headset.
Yeah, she's normally the picture of civility and honesty, like she was with Darth.
Oh yeah, she's Miss Giggly Poo, with the lipstick, the puckered lips, Miss Giggly Laughy Poo. Okay, but you have somebody who asked an intelligent question, an honest interlocutor, and she loses it, and then she wants to say she's being cranky. No, you weren't. You're being a bitch, right?
Does Shannon have a wall where that she hits? Yep, turns out she does. Today's the day. Angelo's the wall.
Hey, thanks for checking out this clip for...
Wow, what a fraud she is. What a fraud.
Well, I think that she was defending atheism the only way.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we saw this, because this shows, what a devious, deceitful person she is.
I think I'd respect her a lot more if she was just open and honest and said, I just hate God. That's why I don't believe there's a God. I just hate him. That's why.
Yeah. Well, you know what? For some of these female atheists, I bet some of them have had abortions, killed their unborn babies, and that's why some of them are atheists. Now, people. Sometimes people are just atheists for good old-fashioned pride reasons, but in many instances, there's a moral component to it. All right, I'm downloading the video now.
Or, it's the old, I used to be a Christian, or I used to believe in God, and then something tragic happened in my life and he wasn't there, so I just hate God now. It's not even really an intellectual argument. It's just like, I was wronged in some way, and that's why. So
I used to be a Christian, then I took an arrow to the knee.
Just as Neil the 666 atheist says, he has deconversion stories.
Yeah, he sits there guzzling beer, trying, to hold down belching on camera while he talks with weirdos, lunatics, and freaks.
He engaged with the one lady that looked like, or the one man that looked like Aunt B.
And
And the one time he was in drag costume, the one guy next to him was squirming in his pants.
The guy with the purple hat, the transsexual conehead.
Oh, that guy, yeah, with a hat size 2 sizes too small.
Okay, guys, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. That was a great video. Thank you. And if you have any more or stuff in the past that you thought was really good, we'll watch it. But that was, maybe some videos you might recommend in the future. We may not be too crazy about. Not suggesting we will, but that was a 10 out of 10. That was a great video to watch. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate your review. And let me ask you, I did record this this stream here, and I know that others are doing it. Do I have your permission to either? Do you have your permission either to download it at my channel in its entirety or partially? Is that
the problem? Is you're going to get hit with a copyright charge
because of Discord here?
Yeah, I'm just saying it may not be fair or accurate, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Okay, but you say in regards of the stream here at Discord at your channel here, or
No,
because...
no, not here. No, YouTube, because we may have. I'm not saying that we did, but YouTube might consider that we crossed a line in terms of fair use. Okay,
no,
I don't think we did. All I'm just telling you is, if you post it to your YouTube channel, maybe you should have an alt YouTube channel that you aren't afraid of losing. Okay. So I'm just warning you, because we had a similar situation happen to Supreme Leader, who we did some reviews of videos, and they got a copyright strike, and they took down his thing.
Okay. No, I wanted to know from you, because that is your channel here. So if that is okay for you, I'll see what.
Yeah, I don't mind. Just you need to be concerned about a copyright strike.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. See you next time. Bye bye.
Oh, I didn't realize how late it was. Time flies when you're having fun.
Do you recall when Matt Dillabloviator said Jesus was a homosexual, as backed up by the scripture?
You know what? Not even he believes that. He's just being a scumbag.
I thought Danny was a scumbag.
He is. He literally betrayed trust. Okay.
Wonder if he goes by Danielle on the weekends.
I don't know. He deliberately decided to develop a friendship and regular acquaintanceship with people who Christians have no business regularly associating with.
So who would win on Project Runway? Hilda or Aunt B?
Oh, Aunt B, she's way more sexy. Andy? Would you guys like me to make a confession?
Yes, I would.
I have found an atheist who I'm afraid to tangle with, and I've been embarrassed to admit it. But because I want to be transparent, he's there in Atheist Helpline. It's Atheist Mo. This is probably he is a scary, smart atheist. Okay, there he is. I will not debate that man.
I think that's a joke.
No, this guy's serious. That is the formidable atheist Mo.
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. Oh, since we're not really talking about anything, does everybody have a link to Kingdom of Debates?
No, sir.
Oh, I thought I posted the link. Okay.
Darth, are you a conservative, or are you just like out of that category? Like you don't really choose.
I'm concerned.
Oh, okay.
All right, just for kicks for a few minutes, I'm going to go over to the Kingdom of Debates. I will post the link in Atheist Helpline, which the stalkers will probably show up right away. So if they do, I'll just leave. It's a true dichotomy.
Okay. See, can I give an example really quick?
You can, but you're wasting your time
So,
because first of all, it's a category
Dar-
error. Because if you
Darth
reference,
Darth hasn't even gotten to explaining how it entails the
Yeah.
denial of God.
Yeah.
He hasn't even gotten to that.
any other illustration you give, it's going to be referencing something that's not God, which will be a category error because God is in a unique category that nothing else is.
the example I'm giving is to understand the concept of a burden of proof.
You're not understanding, okay? Because the burden of proof has different requirements depending on category and context. God is in a unique category. God is a worldview. God is not an entity within a worldview discussion. Okay? So either you believe it is necessary to reference God as the necessary precondition, or you do not believe that.
Okay, I don't believe it.
Okay, so when you do not believe that it is necessary to reference God as the precondition of facts, then what that entails, excuse me, I have the hiccups, what that entails is that you believe that facts can be invoked as actual and intelligible, being independent of the necessity of referencing God. So you believe that facts are independent of God, in spite of the fact that you make a claim that you don't know.
May I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Can you demonstrate how this is an entailment? I'm not really convinced that this is a true entailment.
Okay, all right. Either you will believe in the necessity of referencing God or you will not. Well, the necessity for what? Necessitating that referencing God as the necessary precondition of facts. So if you don't believe that, but then you believe that there are facts, well, then you believe that those facts themselves do not necessitate referencing God. And if you believe that facts do not necessitate referencing God, then that entails that you believe that facts are independent.
Oh, yes. Okay, I would agree to that, yes.
Okay. If you believe that one fact is independent of God, then God cannot logically coexist in that world. Okay. In a world where God is, conceptually speaking, all facts by definition would derive and depend upon God. All facts would necessitate referencing God. In a world where God does not exist, then all facts would not necessitate referencing God. Why? Because the facts exist ontologically without God, because he doesn't exist. They would be independent of God. So the problem is that contemporary skepticism over the last generation has bastardized atheism as a kind of, I'm unconvincedism, lacktheism. Now, there are even professional atheists who lambaste atheists in general for taking this view. It's called lacktheism, or I'm just unconvinced. Right? That the typical remark you'll hear on the atheist is, well, atheism is simply the rejection of the claim. Well, no, that is a gross misrepresentation of it. Okay. Outwardly, you may profess that it's merely the non-acceptance of the claim. But when you don't accept the claim, it means you believe something that negates the existence of God, whether you realize it or not. So people commit fallacies of reasoning without knowing it, or even being willing to acknowledge they've committed a fallacy. Okay? So the point is, you can be neutral about gold on Mars. You can be neutral as to whether there are quantities of water on Mars. But when it comes to God, God is not some super being that is encapsulated by some notion of reality. God will be defined as that which is fundamental, ultimate, and the source of all possibility and impossibility. So God, by definition, is not simply an entity, but it's also a worldview. It's called the creator-creature distinction. And in the creator-creature distinction, everything that is a creature by necessity has to reference God. If something is conceptualized as not being a creature, and by creature I don't mean necessarily animate, it means that it stands in causal relations to God as the metaphysical starting point. So whether one realizes it or not, if you refuse to affirm the necessity of referencing God as the necessary precondition of facts, then whatever you're in that refusal, then you will either be directly or indirectly denying the existence of God, and it's ironclad. This cannot be escaped.
Okay, I understand what you're saying now, and so my position is I reject facts referencing the necessity of God.
Which means if you reject that, then what that means is you believe that facts exist independently of God.
Yes. Okay, I would agree with that position.
Then God cannot logically coexist in that world.
Yes, I would take that position, and
good.
My defense of this position would be, well, I have a question. Do you accept the principle of sufficient reasoning?
I accept the principle of a sufficient creator. Everything that exists has its explanation in God.
In God, okay.
Yeah,
So,
and by the way, why did you ask that question?
I asked that question is because assuming you agree to the principle of sufficient reasoning.
No, did somebody just send that to you in a DM?
No, nobody sent. Oh, I think I know what you're trying to say here. No,
where'd you get that question from? Where did you get the idea? Where did you get the idea that the principle of sufficient reason has anything to do with the God question?
I got this idea is because you know what necessitarianism is. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, you got it on Discord. It came from the Angstrike clan.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
If you want me to show you my DMs, I can.
Okay, that's funny.
No,
actually.
Anyway, it's not important. I don't hold to per se the principle of sufficient reason. I hold to the principle of the sufficient creator. Everything that exists has its explanation in God.
Okay, sure.
Tell him, King Darth. Tell him, King Darth.
Does anybody else have any questions they want to ask Darth? Because I don't think I can add anything to the conversation now.
Okay, well, what I'd like to know from you now is how is it that God does not exist? How did you determine that?
Well, it was all solely based off of your acceptance of that question I gave you, and you rejected that question, right? You hold the principle of sufficient God or whatever. I would ask a follow-up question, but I want to see if anybody else wants to.
Yeah, since I hold that God is the only concrete universal.
Oh, okay. Can I ask why?
Why? Because that's what Christian theism teaches. God is the only concrete universal. In other words, God is the only thing that everything is universally tied to. Okay.
Okay. Well, how do you know it's the Christian God?
How? Because the only way I could know, he would have to reveal himself. Would there be another way?
I would know of another way.
No, it wouldn't. You not only you couldn't know of it because there couldn't be. You couldn't know of something that cannot be. All right. Now,
okay.
What I'd like to know from you is, how is it that you arrive that there's no God? That's all. Simple question.
Okay, so the thing is, I would take the principle of sufficient reasoning as true because do you know what a contingent fact is?
Well, the problem is if you're going to state that anything is, then it's going to have the context of whatever is the source of all possibility and impossibility. Do you have that in mind?
Yes, I do have that in mind.
Good. What is it that makes anything and everything impossible then?
The law of non-contradiction.
Yeah, the law of non-contradiction is a universal abstraction. It doesn't stand in causal relations.
I think the
law of non-contradiction does not in any way permit or prohibit me from jumping to the moon in the next 10 minutes.
The law of non-contradiction isn't about the laws of physics. It determines logical possibility.
Yeah. I listen. Do you think I'm not familiar with this?
I do think you are.
The law of non-contradiction does not stand in causal relations.
Okay, I have a question.
So I want to know then, what is it that makes anything impossible? Because it can't be the laws of logic. It may be the case that certain situations are possible if they don't conform to the law of non-contradiction. But I'm talking about everything.
May I ask for clarification?
Yeah.
On what do you mean by possible and impossible? What type of possibility?
I'm talking about anything and everything.
If you talk about absolute possibility,
Everything. Do you know what the word everything means?
then that's in reference.
Everything. What makes everything that is impossible? What is there something that is singularly dictates why everything's impossible?
Yes, it would necessarily be the law of non-contradiction.
Okay, we've already gone over that. Why are you repeating that again when it's already been rebutted?
May I ask another question? Well,
no, you may not. I just asked you a question. Why are you repeating something that was already rebutted?
Because what we mean by impossible is false in all possible worlds.
Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. Don't bullshit me. Okay? I'm probably 3 times your age. Okay? You're now going into bullshit mode. Okay? 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 You're bullshitting me. Okay? You're giving me sophist responses. Okay? Now, I want to know, is there one thing that institutes and secures that everything is impossible?
Well, again, my answer would be the same, but I don't think you accept that.
Well, I've already rebutted that, and you haven't offered a counter rebuttal.
Well, I was trying to give you my counter, but you said I was bullshit.
No, that wasn't that wasn't a counter rebuttal. That was sophist gobbledygook. Listen, do you think I'm stupid? Okay, I'm gonna be 60 this year. How old are you?
15.
Okay, you're 15 years old. I'm more than 3 times your age. Do you think you're going to bamboozle me with sophism? Do you know what sophism is?
Yes, I know what sophism is.
Okay, you're being a sophist right now. And I'm not using that as a get out of jail free card. You are literally being a okay, you're using vocabulary and nomenclature and you're not being substantive. Is there one thing that singularly imposes all possibility? It's a simple question.
See, it is a simple question, but I think it's actually a loaded question.
It's not a loaded question. Tell me what a loaded question is. What's the definition of a loaded question?
Well, my understanding of a loaded question is a semantic primitive. But if I can get you a denotation.
Listen to me. Okay, strike 2. You're bullshitting me again. Okay.
Tell him, King.
Okay. You're bullshitting a semantic primitive. You're a bullshitter.
Okay.
You are a 15-year-old bullshitter, and it's steaming and smelly. All right. Now, in basic English, what is a loaded question?
A loaded question or a complex question is a question that contains a controversial assumption, such as questions may be used as a rhetorical tool.
Right. Good. So you had time to look it up. Right.
Yeah.
Now, what is the controversial premise in my question?
The controversial premise is that you're making me say yes or no, but there needs to be an explanation to the yes or no.
No, you're not understanding. What is, if I say to you, have you stopped beating your wife? Okay. The unstated premise is that you were already that you acknowledge that you already were beating your wife. Okay. There's no controversial premise. All I said is, do you believe that there is one thing instituting all impossibility? What's the controversial premise there?
Again, the controversial premise in my
you bullshit me again, and we're going to be done.
In my understanding, it's that if I give an answer, that answer necessarily requires an explanation.
You're bullshitting me. You're 15 years old. How dumb do you think I am?
So the controversial premise is
Do you understand that? Listen, you're 15 years old. Okay, I'm old enough to be your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wasn't. Just like Vision said to Ultron. Vision said, "Oh, I was born yesterday. I wasn't born yesterday. I've been debating for 10 years. I'm fairly experienced. I know when somebody's bullshitting me, especially a 15-year-old.
Okay.
Okay? Now, the point is this. There are certain verbal tactics that people pull when they get in an uncomfortable situation because they either don't know how to answer the question or they don't want to answer. So they go, oh, that's a loaded question. It's not a loaded question. All I want to know is, do you believe that there is one thing that is fundamental that secures what's impossible? Do you believe that?
Meeting your wife.
Okay.
Why is Parakeet muted? Who muted Parakeet?
Tell him, King Darth.
I didn't. I don't know. Who muted
I
Parakeet.
muted him because you two were having a conversation. I didn't want him to jump in.
Okay. All right.
Be
Do you
his
want me
ass, Darth. He's a
Okay.
fucking stupid
Okay.
atheist scum.
Do you have an answer to the question?
BB.
Eat your wife's
No,
ass.
no, I don't. I don't have an answer to the question. No.
Okay. Well, so therefore, you because you don't have an answer to the question, you forfeit your ability to speak intelligibly. Okay? Because in order to speak intelligibly, it means that some propositions are to have either a greater or a lesser value, or that some propositions are permissible and others are off limits. Therefore, whatever you say, I can just simply assert the converse and you can't object to it because nothing singularly imposes what's impossible. So in your world, nothing can be defended to be impossible. And if nothing's impossible, then all propositions are of equal value. And if all propositions are of equal value, then you can't speak intelligibly.
Okay.
Now, do you understand? Do you understand that since you have rejected God's existence by virtue of his disclosure of himself through creation and through the course of human history, and then finally recorded in Scripture, when you reject God and you say, oh, I am in no need of God, I'm unconvinced of God, what I have just shown you now, okay, that when you reject God, who is the creator and the source of all possibility and impossibility, you're now in a metaphysic where nothing can be designated to be impossible. Okay?
Okay.
I have a question, Darth.
Hey, Darth.
Done. Hold up. Yo, Darth.
Yeah. Who's speaking?
Zaji, the one who invited you. I was watching a lot of your debates or, discussions.
I'm looking for you on the screen. I'm looking for you on here. I don't see your name.
Oh, the nickname I have is that guy named Kratos. So.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
I was watching a lot of your discussions on Pal Talk or Google Hangouts. The one where it's usually titled Jack King Strike Destroys You, even though you really weren't debating him. I have a quick question about that situation. When it comes to realistic nihilists, Philip and Jack, usually the three main trolls you hate, you also hate Godless since the last time I listened.
Who said I hated them?
Well, I thought you said you hated them or put them on your troll list because you hated them. Am I
No,
wrong?
no, I don't hate them. In fact, I pity them because they're going to hell. I find them to be reprehensible individuals. I think that they're disgusting human beings, but I don't hate them.
Well, mind I ask, what actually started the hate between you? Because the way Jack puts it is that on Pal Talk, it was the case that apparently you found his number, and every time he got close to his mic and tried to raise an objection, you would call him and obstruct him from speaking. That's the reason that he said that he hated you, and you started lying about it.
And he accused me of that?
Yes, I can get you the video if you want.
And where was his proof that I did this?
I don't know if he posted any.
Yeah, Jack has made a number of accusations about me. Jack is not somebody who I would trust. Jack is somebody who is by his own concession a moral nihilist.
Jack, I have a question.
Jack is. Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
Are you aware that by Jack's own concession, he has been engaging in stalking and harassing behavior on a daily basis for 10 years? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I actually seen a lot of.
Okay, good. Then end a conversation about Jack. He's a mental case. Okay.
Well,
That's deranged behavior. So we're done with the discussion.
Oh yeah, but the main reason that I wanted to ask that was what actually started the hate between you guys? Like, what was the instance that
I explained to you. I don't hate Jack. I have expressed disgust and contempt, just like I express contempt for a lot of atheists. Okay, and when people engage in stalking and slanderous and defamatory behavior, I'm going to have contempt and disgust for them. I don't hate them because they're deeply blinded by their own sin, and the wrath of God now abides upon them. Okay.
Okay. Well, okay. I'll let some.
Yo, Darth, I was gonna ask you a question.
No, I was talking.
What do you
I was
mean?
talking.
Shut up! I'm trying to talk to Darth, smelly
BB,
boy.
I was talking, Darth.
All right, yo,
BB,
Darth, I have a question. If someone's trying to get into like theology, because I'm like trying to get into it, what tips do you have?
Well, the first thing is you have to become a Christian, right? What are you?
I'm currently like, I want to argue for a theist side because I grew up like as a Christian, and I want to like justify my beliefs, kind of.
Well, first of all, you have to be on the right side. You have to be born again. You have to come to the realization that your soul is damned as we speak. That it's like your foot is caught in the train tracks, and the train is screaming down the tracks at 60 miles an hour, and you can't pull your foot out. And you come to the realization that within 30 or 40 seconds, you're going to be dog food all over the train tracks. And then you cry out to your hiking buddy to help you pull your foot out, right? And you know that there's nothing that you can do to save yourself, but if he intercedes, he's going to save you. Well, you have to have that same attitude right now that your soul is under the wrath of God. The reason why people do not react this way is because they do not take seriously not only the existence of God, but that God is entirely righteous and holy and just. And what that makes us is evil and sinful and under his damnation. And it is only the common grace of God that lets our heart beat before Judgment Day. And that's gonna has to be the first step, where you realize that you have spiritual rabies. Right? If you go to your uncle's picnic and you show up early and it's 98 degrees out, and you get a delicious cup of the fruit punch that your aunt made, and you start drinking, and your uncle comes screaming out of the woods like a maniac, knocks the cup out of your hand, you're going to say, well, what's wrong with you? And he says, I just took out a rabid raccoon that had drowned in the fruit punch. Now, what have you just realized about yourself?
The way you're describing it to me,
you just realized you probably ingested rabies.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty gross.
Right. And guess what? You know what that means? It means you're going to be dead in 3 months. You have the sentence of death on you. Right. And all of your self-effort will be to no avail. The only thing that'll save you is if you actually have the rabies vaccine administered by someone. Even if you go to a doctor and say, help me, do what he can, and he goes in and he gets the wrong vial, and he gives you the coronavirus vaccine, right? The COVID, right? And he gives you the wrong vaccine, you're still going to die. Well, the same is true biblically. Before you can defend the existence of God, you have to be rightly related to God and become a Christian. Okay? That's the first step. And we have to turn to Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. Once you do that, then God will give you a new nature, a new disposition where you will want to please him. And that will battle with your old nature until you die and your body's eradicated. And then from there on afterwards, you will not have any pulls of sin anymore, right? Then after that, you need to start reading your Bible, right? Read your Bible every single day and familiarize yourself with the biblical worldview.
And get more connected.
And then you need to join a local Bible believing church, one that is faithful to the Bible, teaches a literal Genesis, right? Isn't into entertainment or rock music or any of that kind of crap that goes on. And then once you start reading your Bible and familiarizing yourself with the Bible, then start reading some basic books on basic theology. Like, for example, a good one would be Basic Theology by Charles Ryrie. Okay. If you want a copy of that, send me a DM and I'll send that to you tomorrow electronically.
All right, I'll DM you.
Then you can start reading some easy to read introductions into apologetics, right?
Yeah. All right, thank you a lot, Darth.
But I just have to warn you that if you seriously want to get into further into apologetics, what you're going to face is a lot of unbelievers that are they're disingenuous, they're deceitful, they're liars, they're prevaricators, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the nice ones.
Yeah. So it'll be a hard journey, basically. Is that what you're telling me?
No, not necessarily. It can be a labor of love. No, but I'm just telling you, you're not dealing with people that are truly neutral. You're dealing with people that have varying degrees of outward deception and self-deception themselves. That they're seeking the truth, they want reason, but they're unconvinced they're God. This is simply a lie that they're unconvinced. Now, in one sense, they are unconvinced, just like everyone who denies the existence of God is unconvinced. The question is, what is the basis of their claim that they're unconvinced? And when we examine that, we find that it's verbal smoke and mirrors. Like when somebody says, I lack belief in God, but I don't deny belief in God. So I ask them, I ask the question, do you believe it's necessary to reference God as the necessary precondition of facts? Do you believe that? And a lot of times they'll prevaricate, they'll dodge, they'll dance, but occasionally they'll answer. It says, no, I don't believe that. I say, good. Since you don't believe it, then you believe that facts are independent of God. And if you believe facts are independent of God, then God cannot exist in your world. So then the question is, how is it that God doesn't exist? But they can't defend that, because if they could defend that, they would never say they're unconvinced. They would just simply say God doesn't exist because of X, Y, Z. We watched a video. Here, let me get the title of it for you. Here, I'm going to post in general.
Let me see this video.
Okay, I'm too lazy to do it right now, but somebody copy and paste that into the YouTube field and get the link for that and watch that. This is an acquaintance of ours who called in. He's not a biblical presuppositionalist, but he's heading in that direction. Thank you very much. Okay, he called in with a legitimate question, and I want you to watch how these two atheists become totally bent out of joint, disingenuous, and deceitful, especially the broad on the left. The guy on the right is more of a cool cucumber, where he just tries to misrepresent the position that he's being neutral, but he's not. And so this is an example of what you're going to be up against with unbelievers when they try to present themselves as being neutral. They're not neutral. It is impossible to be neutral toward God. Why? Because what is God? God is what is fundamental to all possibility and impossibility. God is what is ultimate and foundational, from which everything depends and derives. Well, that thing you can't be neutral toward. Now, if God were just simply the grand poobah of a universe where God is encapsulated by some parameter of reality, but he's the biggest, the baddest, the smartest, well, you could be neutral toward such an entity. And that's why a lot of atheists think that they can be neutral toward God, because that's the kind of God they conceive of. It's a kind of finite God. But that's not what we're talking about. When we talk about God, we're talking about that which is ultimate, that which is absolute, and ultimately unchanging, and is the source of everything, including regularity and non-regularity. And so you can't be neutral toward that. Now, here's another video. There is a... go onto YouTube and type in Darth Dawkins versus Massimo Pigluggi. It's spelled P-I-G-L Pigluggi. I forget the spelling. It's Italian. Okay, it's about a 4-minute interaction. Now, this is going to show you the slipperiness, the deceitfulness of even the creme de la creme of atheists here. This guy has 2 earned PhDs. He has a PhD in biology, and he has a PhD in the philosophy of science. He's even debated William Lane Craig in 1998, who is considered to be one of the greatest Christian apologists out there. Now, there are things I don't agree with Craig, but that's another issue. Okay, so this guy has debated some of the best that Christian apologists have to offer, right? So you see how long he lasts with me? I ask him a legitimate question. Okay, I wasn't rude, I wasn't obnoxious, I stayed focused, and he completely folds like a cheap lawn chair. Okay, this guy's a prominent atheist and 2 earned PhDs, and this is going to show you if this is what the creme de la creme of atheist representatives and debaters have to offer, then how much worse than when you're going to deal with just rank and file everyday atheists. Okay?
Yeah.
But you should watch that video.
I'll look into it. I definitely need to watch the one you put or you told me about in general chat.
Or
I definitely
watch
need to watch that one.
any of the videos that are posted. The only thing is there are a couple of videos where I've been greatly mistreated and I've lost my temper, gotten angry, uttered some curse words. They put that up there to try to slander me. But if you look at the cross section of my debates, even the videos that my enemies put up there, they're just advertising the biblical presuppositional view, and they're making a mistake in doing it. Okay, it's actually achieving the very opposite of what they're trying to do. So you first need to become a Christian. You need to find a Bible believing church, start reading your Bible, and then I can send you some electronic books to read. Okay, such as basic theology. Just send me a DM tomorrow. I'll send you a copy of Basic Theology, and I'll also send you a copy of a book called Every Thought Captive, which is a short, basic, general introduction to a biblical apologetic or biblical presuppositionalism. It's a very easy to read book.
All right, thank you, Darth. Means a lot.
And if anybody hasn't seen that video that Breborn posted, where Shannon Q and Paul respond to Otangelo, it just goes to show you what slippery, slimy, deceitful people some of these prominent atheist YouTubers are. And these two are prominent atheist YouTubers. And interestingly enough, a lot of atheist YouTubers don't want me to come on their show. They don't want a level playing field where we have an adult interaction. Or if they do have it, then what they do is they just allow a lot of jerky behavior. Like I went onto an atheist YouTube channel tonight, and one of the people I was interacting with was acting like a complete moron. Is anybody else in here an atheist and think their atheism is rational or defensible? Oh, that's amazing. We have a server called Kingdom of Debates, and we have no courageous atheists. Okay, so the way that I show the existence of God is I first want to show to atheists that atheism is just completely self-defeating and incoherent on its own terms. Then once I establish that, then I show them that the only possible worldview by which we can derive intelligibility and coherence is that we have to have a God who is fundamental, the source of all possibility. And that God has to have a specific character set. Because if that God doesn't have the character set, then consequently down the road after creation, we're not going to have the grounds for human intelligibility. And guess what? The God of the Bible is the only God in human history that has that specific property or character set, right? People say, well, how do you know that's the true God? Well, it's because there is no other God out there that either claims or could have that property set, right? And isn't it a coincidence that the one of the most prominent religions in the world, the God of the Bible, has that attribute set, right? So once somebody says, well, I don't believe it, you haven't persuaded me, then again, they're making a counterclaim. See, this isn't just a debate over facts. This is a debate over the philosophy of facts and worldviews. And it's the Christian worldview versus not the Christian worldview. But once somebody adopts a not Christian worldview, it's game over because there's no ultimacy to appeal to. There is nothing foundational or fundamental by which they can appeal to ground any other truth statement or fact. And to highlight this, if you go onto YouTube and just type in Darth Dawkins versus Lawrence Krauss, who's a famous atheist firebrand, and he's a physicist, I asked him that very question, and he nearly had a meltdown and a hissy fit. And in fact, he was so pissed when I asked him this question and I stay focused when he tried to dodge it, he then started being verbally obscene with me. Okay? I mean, now some of these professional atheists have been a little bit more cordial than others, but we shouldn't be surprised that even some of these professional atheists show their true colors. Right. So, does anybody have any questions or comments, agreements, disagreements? Wow, we got 27 people in the room and nobody has any questions. Interesting. All right. Well, it's getting late here. Unless anybody has anything else they want to say or questions, I'm going to be shoveling off to bed. All right. Well, at least we have a room here where we can't be trolled, which is nice. All right. I will see you guys.